Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Make sure you guys come on in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you ain't already. We're going to talk about the big three, obviously Miami, Florida State tonight. As you guys know, college football kicked off. All three teams at the moment right now are undefeated. Some key matchups already happened. Florida State played two games already. Miami and the Florida Gators played one. Now, I'm going to give you guys some time to come on in. Right now, the live is kind of running a little bit behind, but let me give it a little time. You guys come on in. Make sure you hit the like button. Get in the chat. Let me know who all's in here. Also, let me know which team that you're representing, whether you're representing the Florida Gators, the Miami Hurricanes, or the Florida State Seminoles. Or if you want to argue with me that UCF should be a part of this, you can also do that. All right, I see we got a couple people in here already. Mario Cristobal says FSU fans are window lickers, thinking they are back because they beat a trash LSU team. Yeah, LSU was not on par. They're not the LSU that we normally see. I think they're going
to those that give 100% to fall, to those with 90 mini pumpkin.
Yeah, sorry about that. But as you guys know, LSU is going through it right now. Just got a new head coach in Brian Kelly. Getting accustomed down there in Baton Rouge, got a southern accent already. So I think you'll probably fit right in pretty soon if you don't get ran out of town pretty soon. Now, I did see a post-game interview with him, basically asking the reporters, why is everybody late? Are they always late because it was a loss? Are they just taking their little pretty time? And I think somebody said, something about them losing or whatever. So there's a clip floating around on Twitter to deal with that. But Florida State did beat LSU by 1 point, 24-23 in dramatic fashion the other night. So don't say that too often over here, but congratulations to the Florida State Seminoles. They handed the SEC their first loss of the season. The Florida Gators. Florida Gators played at the time number 7 in the country, Utah, the Utah Utes. Now, Florida came into that game unranked at home, and they end up getting the win. Basically, Utah throws an interception with like 22 seconds left in the game, and Florida capitalized and won the game. The Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes played Bethune Cookman, beat them 70-13. 70-13. Mario Cristobal made his debut as the Miami Hurricanes' new head coach, first game of the season. So Billy Napier also made his first debut for the Florida Gators, beating Utah. AP poll comes out, and the Florida Gators jump from being unranked to number 12 in the country. Unpresidential, but nonetheless, it is what it is. The Miami Hurricanes moved up one spot from being number 16 in the country to number 15. A couple key losses happened during that week. The Oregon Ducks got demolished by Georgia 49-3. So basically, that's where we are in the standings. Oregon dropped out of the standing completely. So they're no longer ranked. All right. So Mark says, how do you say Miami is better than Florida? But, okay, so Florida beat a top 10 team that will finish the season in the top 10 while Miami had a cupcake. Okay, so according to the schedule, Florida will play Kentucky this weekend. Kentucky is ranked at number 21 in the country. So if the Florida Gators were to beat that team, then basically they would move up again. So they got a key matchup against Kentucky in the SEC coming up. That is one of my top 8 games. I did drop a video earlier on. You guys could go and check that out later. Basically, my top 8 games of the week. Being that both teams are ranked and it's a SEC matchup, that game will be highly rated and highly watched and whatever, will be lurking. Um, Also, Mark says 10K is good, but you could have more. All right. Appreciate that, Mark. Here's what you do: share the channel. Share the channel with a college football friend, with a fan, with a friend, college football rival, you name it. Share the channel on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Share it everywhere. So when we have these conversations, you know, your fan base could air their opinions also. All right, and we also got the Ohio State Buckeye in the building. What's going on with you? How you doing, boss? Demetrius in the building. What's good, Demetrius? How you doing? Doing pretty good right now. Okay, so like I said, this weekend the Miami Hurricane will take on Southern Miss. Now, this should be another light cupcake game for the Miami Hurricanes. Yes, two cupcake games back to back. I do believe we win this game, and I do believe we win this game convincingly. It is at home. Miami is a 25-point favorite. Over and under sitting at 51. Southern Miss is 0-1 at the moment, lost in 4 overtimes to Liberty. So this should be a nice, easy game. They did lose their starting quarterback, the running back slash quarterback now in Frank Gore Jr. I'm pretty sure as Hurricanes, we all know the name Frank Gore Jr. Frank Gore pretty well. Um, John, thank you, sir. Hit the like button, everyone. Appreciate that. So another key matchup this weekend coming up is like I said, the Florida Gators versus Kentucky. Now, Florida is a favorite in this game. They are at home. It's a 6-point favorite, and over and under is sitting at 52 and a half. Now, quarterback wise, Florida, and by the way, Florida State is on a bye week, so they will not have any games this week. They'll just sit back, relax, and watch us play. Most likely sitting in the cut, hating and praying that either the Florida Gators lose or the Miami Hurricanes lose. It is what it is. It's a rivalry. That's what I expect. I expect nothing better. So Florida will take on Kentucky. Miami will take on Southern Miss. Now, if Florida goes out and beat Kentucky, without a doubt, they'll be in the top 10. Now, where in the top 10 will they be? It all depends on how bad they beat Kentucky and how bad the other teams look that's ranked above them right now. But they definitely will be in the top 10 because all the other teams in the top 10s literally have cupcake games. Cupcake games. It is what it is. Now, the Miami Hurricanes play against Texas A&M in week 3. That'll be in College Station. Texas A&M is ranked number 6 in the country right now. More than likely, after this weekend when they play App State, if they win and they don't get upset by App State is one of those tricky trap games. They always play tough. We just saw them play North Carolina, the Tar Heels. Nearly they came up short, but nonetheless, they put up 61 points on North Carolina. Now, I'm not sure if App State is just this good or North Carolina is just that terrible. I think I'm gonna go with North Carolina is just that terrible. So the SEC, the Gators. Now, obviously, heavily favored in the East would be Georgia. Georgia just demolished Oregon, like I said, 49-3. Now, that was a good win against a Pac-12 team. So also with Florida beating Utah, the reigning Pac-12 champion. So both Pac-12 teams got taken down by the SEC, but I do believe that Georgia is the strongest team in the East, if not in the whole SEC as of right now. That's debatable when it comes to Alabama. So can the Gators actually make a push to get up in the conversation of possibly winning the East and possibly going to the SEC championships and trying to make their first appearance in the college football playoffs? You guys can let me know how you feel. Do you think they get that done? Do you think right now they're just overhyped because of that win and they'll fall right back to, the same old that we saw in the Mullen era? Also, Florida State coming off their bye week They'll play Louisville. Louisville is not looking so good right now. I do believe that Florida State will probably be highly favored in that game. Louisville just came off a loss to Syracuse. I think they lost like 31-7 or somewhere in that range. So Florida State will definitely have a good chance of starting the season 3-0, 4-0, because the next game after Louisville would be Boston College. So the SEC, you have Florida, Georgia in the East, and possibly Tennessee making some noise. And then you'll have in the ACC, of course, in the coastal side, you'll have Miami, possibly Pitt, and then Florida State. I don't think they really pose no kind of threat when it comes to Clemson, North Carolina, and even possibly Wake Forest. Wake Forest quarterback was hurt, but he's back, so he'll definitely play in the game against Florida State. So the big three. Which one of these teams? I do have a poll in the chat as of right now. Which one of these teams will be basically first one back? But we're gonna start off with who's gonna be the best team in 2022 in the state of Florida. Also, if you guys want to tune in on UCF, can they make a push? UCF is moving into the Big 12 next year, so they will be considered a Power 5 team. They could possibly make some noise, but I do believe moving into that conference, they will fall off maybe the first couple of years before they could get their footing. So I do want to make this show tonight, Florida State versus Miami versus Gator show. So all fans of those teams are allowed to come on. And if you're a fan of another team that's not Florida, Miami, or the Gators, you can also come in. But the topic will be Florida, Florida State, and Miami. So I will put the link to the chat. I will put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to come in and give their thoughts and opinions on the subject at hand. Florida State, Miami, the Gators. All right, so the link is in the chat. I'm gonna leave that in there right now. So I'll give you guys a minute or so for anybody that wants to come on, and then we'll continue the show. You guys could talk in the chat. I'll take a 1 minute break for a second.
Yo,
Big Show, what's going on with you, boss?
man, everyone doing
Big Show, you there?
all right.
All right. So, what team are you
Uh,
representing? Can you hear me?
yeah, Clemson.
Okay. So, you representing Clemson. Now, the topic is Florida State, Miami, and Florida. So, out of these three teams, what's your thoughts and opinions? You can give a thought on opinion, rundown on each three, and tell me what you think about Florida versus Kentucky, Miami versus Southern Miss, and what's your thoughts on Florida State beating LSU?
All right, I'm getting feedback. How do I stop that?
Uh, you
Uh,
have to mute YouTube. If you mute YouTube, you'll be fine because you can hear everything through StreamYard.
okay, okay, I muted it. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Uh, I say that if I had to choose, Miami definitely is a threat. Um, but it's between Miami and Florida State University. I know Miami doesn't like Florida State University. Some people say LSU is overrated. It's still an SEC team. They still recruit better than Florida State did. So for Florida State to do what they did is really impressive. Um, Clemson definitely has to look after Florida State because they have a target on our back. We barely beat them last year. Um, but I still have Miami high on my list as far as them competing for the ACC championship. or just being one of the best in the conference.
So, what's your thoughts on Florida upsetting Utah?
Uh, I didn't really watch that game. I watched the highlights. It was kind of surprising. I was kind of surprised Utah was ranked seventh. I didn't think Utah would be ranked that high. But it was a good win for Florida though, beating the number 17.
Now, did you get any chance to see any highlights or any stats or anything on AR-15? What's your thoughts on their quarterback?
Who? Florida's quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, they say he's a top 10 draft pick. I never really heard of him. He did look pretty good. He's speedy, so he's definitely a dual threat. But he's definitely probably one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, if I would say.
Now, when it comes to throwing the ball, because we obviously know he can run it, accuracy I think is up for a challenge or whatever. But
Yeah,
I don't see him being like one of those pocket present quarterbacks. I don't think he have the arm for it or the vision. But that might be just me being biased. But I definitely don't see him as a quarterback. I see him more as a running back slash tight end.
right. Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
And if you want to go so far to put him on the defense, maybe a defensive end.
yeah, yeah. I agree too.
Now the
Uh,
Florida State versus LSU game. Did you watch that one?
oh, I definitely did. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Florida State's quarterback Jordan Travis?
Oh, he's good. Yeah, I think he's definitely good. They got a lot of their defensive line is. People talking about Clemson. I'm not trying to bring up Clemson, but just comparison. Florida State defensive line is probably one of the best in the ACC. Only difference is we have more depth in them, but Florida State defensive line is definitely going to be an issue for a lot of teams, especially Clemson for our offensive line. So, but Jordan Travis played real good. Definitely was impressed with him, and just impressed with Florida State just hanging on like that. Man, they really gave Florida, LSU the run for their money.
Now, question: Is
Hmm.
Florida State that good or LSU that bad?
Uh, Here's what I say. I mean, you can back me up on this. Everyone says the ACC is so weak, blah blah blah. SEC is better. If that was the case, LSU should have won because they're an SEC team. They recruit better than Florida State has. They always have. So it could have been, LSU walking in there thinking, well, this is an ACC team. We got this. There's no competition. But to answer your question, I think Florida State just is really just good this year. They're putting together a good team. They're recruiting good. So I just think that Florida State was just a better team that night.
Yeah, because we also see that LSU is transitioning with their new head coach, new coaching staff, implementing new schemes and playbook.
Hmm.
So that could definitely be a factor. Mike Norvell has been at Florida State for 3 seasons now, so he definitely should have the coaching advantage. Now
Yeah.
it came down to basically a block kick. Had that kick not been blocked, do you think Florida State still come out with a victory with all the
Uh,
momentum that LSU had picked up?
it would have been tough. It would have went to overtime, of course. It could have went either way. LSU did end up coming back and almost winning. Um, eh, I don't know, man. That's hard to say. That's hard to say who would have won if it went to overtime.
Now the pros and cons for Florida State in that game against LSU. What you thought they were?
Um, Pros and cons. The pros have to the con. Not, I'm sorry. The pros have to be the defensive line was just tearing up that offensive line. Their defense in general, to me, was better than LSU's defense. Their cons will probably have to be their offensive line was okay. But definitely that's probably my top two. Their pros are the defense is real good in my opinion. Their con probably has to be their offensive line.
All right, so obviously you're a Clemson fan, and I'm pretty sure you watched the Clemson versus Georgia Tech game.
Oh man, I almost tore up my headphones, man.
So
Oh
Clemson,
man. Lord have
Pros
mercy.
and cons. Pros and cons on Clemson.
Pros are defensive front. The defensive seven is, man, I think it's. I wouldn't say it's probably the difference between our defensive front now and 2018. We're more depth than we were 2018, and we also have faster linebackers. I know that a lot of teams say Clemson linebackers are never athletic. Now we have multiple athletic linebackers at our position. We've been recruiting at safety better, so definitely our pros is defense, our cons offense. We cannot come out and play against Miami or any of these other teams like that. We got to get it together on the offense. The play calling was bland, and it's just our offense needs to get better because we start playing these other teams that has a target on our back. They're gonna come out. They're gonna come out busting, and we can't do against let's say y'all because to me y'all our biggest competition in our schedule besides Notre Dame. We can't come out like that against y'all. And our defense, is out there most of the time. So eventually they may get tired. Then what? Then they're going to stumble, mess around, and that's how you eventually get scored on. So our offense definitely has to be better. Our offensive line is better than last year. Some people say it's not. I think that it is, but it's not that much better. Um, Sorry if I'm going on a rant, but our quarterback, when I love DJ, he's a good guy. He just isn't it. He just seems scared. He seems timid. When you put Cade in now, understand there's 5 minutes left. Georgia Tech is tired. Yeah, we got our third strings out there, but people were cheering when Cade Klubnik got in the game. Cade Klubnik's a former 5-star, number one quarterback. He just seems more ready than DJ is, and we have to make a decision real fast because once we start playing the NC States and Wake Forest and y'all, we can't be playing like we play against Georgia Tech.
All right, so I see we have a Florida State fan in the chat asking how is Florida State overrated. The link is in the chat, sir. You can come on in and give your assessment of Florida State since you don't like what the people are saying in the chat. You can come in and defend your own team. So Florida State, obviously, you guys play them every season. Close game last year.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest threat will be playing them this year?
Their defensive line against our offensive line. Offensive line, I don't know. Our offensive line's been pretty downhill. I don't know why we've been recruiting better at the offensive line, but we're taking a step backwards, and I don't get it. So that's my biggest concern is their defensive front. 'Cause their defensive front is good.
All right, so I see we have somebody in here by the name of John. John, which team are you representing?
I'm representing the Miami Hurricanes.
Oh man, I'm outnumbered.
Nah, but I want to make a comment about that FSU LSU game. Like everyone's hyping FSU up a little bit, but LSU played the worst game that they could ever played, and they somehow still almost tied that game and won it.
That's true.
I mean, they played bad on special teams, bad on offense, bad on defense, and people were acting like FSU dominated LSU in that game, which they did, and they still somehow almost threw the game. Which to me shows that it was more of a bad LSU team than it was a great FSU team.
So. All right, so I got a comment here. I want both of you guys' opinion. John, you could go first. Clemson and Miami are overrated. Florida State will beat them both.
I'll let you go first.
I mean, Miami's not. They're not. I can't really say if how they're overrated because they're ranked 15, which is in the middle of the pack, and they haven't really played anyone yet. So I don't think anyone's hyping Miami up yet. Clemson, their defense is like the best in the ACC. There's no one in the ACC that has a better defense than Clemson. Their offense is where their problem is, and I think once they figure out the quarterback position, it's going to be solved. By week 10, Clemson is going to be in the ACC championship game. I can guarantee you that. By the time it's postseason, Clemson's going to be there versus either Miami or whoever. But Clemson, this has way too much talent. I do not see them losing to FSU.
You want me to answer T2Y?
Yeah, go ahead.
I do think Clemson's a bit overrated. I do think that we should not have been in the top 4. We did make the college football playoff, so we should have been in the top 4. I know our Clemson fans don't agree with that, but we have to humble our expectations. We have not had that fire that we had in the past year. We barely beat Georgia Tech last year. We almost lost to Florida State last year. we got to start having some fire because I'm telling you, teams are gunning for us. We have a big target on our back. I mean, Miami, no offense against y'all, y'all want to be like where Clemson is. Y'all want to be that name that pops up in the ACC, not us. And I understand that it's competition. So I do think we was a bit overrated. Like what's the other guy in the chat's name? I can't see him. The guy below me.
John.
Yeah, it's like John said. We have to get our offense straightened out. I don't know where this is to change the quarterbacks. I think that's it, but we have to get that figured out quick. As far as Florida State, I do think they still beat LSU. I understand LSU played their worst games, but it's still an SEC team. The SEC teams recruit better than us, apparently recruit better than ACC, but do they have the talent to keep up with LSU? And it showed towards the end where they were gassed out and LSU was switching players in, then they started scoring. So I do think FSU for us is going to be a big issue playing against them if we don't get things together.
All right, so Big Show, you could start this one off. Florida went from being unranked to 12 after beating Utah, 26 to 22. What's your thoughts on that ranking? Is it fair? Do you think they belong that low? Should they be higher?
It kind of surprised me when Florida jumped that high, but they did beat a number 7 team. These rankings are confusing. I don't even these rankings are just confusing of how they like we dropped. I'm not trying to say we dropped to 5 even though we won. So I don't know. Should Florida be ranked? Yeah, they'd be at number 17. I don't think they should be number 12 though.
John, your thoughts?
I think a lot of people get way over like hyped on rankings like in the first couple weeks. Like I think that preseason rankings obviously don't mean nothing. Clearly, as you see, I think people forget that Florida was a great team last year that lost bad games because of their coaches, but the talent was there and it's always been there. So I think that's why Florida. I mean, I knew Florida was going to beat Utah. Just talent wise, they're way better than Utah talent wise. So I'm not surprised, but I don't think Florida's going to win the East. I mean, Georgia's going to. It's Georgia all the way. Like it's not even close.
All right, okay, I'll ask you first, John. Are you impressed with what Billy Napier is doing at Florida, recruiting wise, and on the field?
Yeah, I mean, beat a good Utah team week 1, and they're recruiting really well. I mean, they're doing way better than FSU. For him being a first-year head coach at Florida, I'm pretty impressed. I think Miami's going to still own the state in that kind of wise, but I'm still pretty impressed.
Go ahead, Big Show.
My bad. I was reading this comment. Let's see. Whoa.
We got Uncle Lou in the building. Uncle Lou
Oh
says
man,
Miami
Uncle Lou.
is a joke.
Uncle Lou.
I can't really say anything about Georgia right now. They are the reigning national champs. They did just mollywop Oregon, literally beat the ducklings out of them. So I'm gonna let that slide, Lou. No, I'm not. You freaking puppies. You finally won something after 40 years, and here you are talking that trash. This team is joke, that team is joke. Well, you finally passed on the torch of being a joke because you guys were the end of a joke for 40 years now. Anyways, back to the program at hand. So, Chris, how you doing, boss?
What's going on with you, man? What's going on with you, gentlemen?
What's going on?
So, Chris, we're talking about Florida State, Miami, and of course, the Gators. We'll start with you then with the LSU game. Were you impressed how Florida State performed? Do you think that LSU was just that bad, or Florida State is just that good?
Well, I can honestly say it's probably about a little bit of both. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible because Florida State showed that they can put points on the board just like they did last year. The only thing is that they ran out of gas. And if it wouldn't have been for that block punt, all of that work that they would have done would have been for nothing. Now, I will give them the benefit of the doubt, even though I'm a diehard Kane fan. I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I keep it real. They they stacked the box. They filled the trenches. They actually had them down for about a good 2.5 quarters. But that last part of that third and that fourth, you started to see it started to gas them out. That depth, that rotation, when LSU started striking and they started bringing in rotating of those players, it played a huge part because they were getting gassed. They probably don't have the depth like that, or they're probably not the condition. I'm not really too sure, but they really showed that when it's a game like that, they got to be able to score points and continuously score points and be ahead because their depth chart didn't look like they didn't look like they were rotating fresh players. Like they had guys doing more duty than what they needed to, and that's how they was able to drive 99 yards down the field and pretty much almost take that game away right there. LSU almost took that game away from them. So even though LSU is rebuilding, LSU seems like they have the depth. And even though Florida State looking like they don't have the depth, they look like they can put some points up, but they have to just be consistent. And that's what it's going to come down to with everyone this year is rotation and depth to get those players out. Because when they get gassed, you can hang it up, bro. You can hang it up.
Yeah. I mean, I think FSU's like an injury away on either side to completely losing their season. Like if they lose their quarterback, that they're gone. They're done. I mean, there's not even a chance of them winning one more game.
Bro, you're not lying. And you're not lying.
What was your assessment of FSU's offensive line?
You asking me, TJ?
Yeah.
Oh, their offensive line. I mean, they, for the most part, they held their own.
Let's just say Jordan Travis was not a running quarterback. Assess the offensive line now.
If he wasn't a running quarterback like that, or if he just didn't have that elusiveness like how he does, it might be a totally different ball game. But he made plays that there was like out of no plays. He made plays out of no plays because his feet, and like my man here says, Jordan Travis, he get hit hard enough, or he get knocked out or something like that, and he's out for like a substantial amount of games, or God forbid, the whole season. What Florida State gonna do? They gonna be SOL.
Backup. They have no backup.
That's what I'm saying. Like y'all, you can't put everything on him. You cannot put everything on him, and that's what they're doing.
All right. Well, speaking of running quarterbacks, AR-15, of course, rushed I think for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he threw for 1. What was your thoughts on his performance?
I think that he proved a lot of people that he can play. He proved that he can make plays and he can be that guy. But he also proved that he basically proved that he can stand his ground. You know what I'm saying? But when he gets that pressure and he runs out of that box and there's nobody open, you can't freeze up now. You cannot freeze up. You freeze up, that's how you get tackled. That's how you get hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get blindsided. So when he was fluid, he was in there. He was doing his thing. He was hitting it. He was on the money. But the moment you show pressure, the moment you show where he's like, oh damn, I'm like a deer in headlights, that's gonna be his downfall. You gotta work on that. Now he did what he had to do, and he made plays out of plays that they really did need, because I think it was a third, and when they were getting ready to score a touchdown, when they was getting ready to take the lead, and it was like a 3rd and 20 or 3rd and something. It wasn't no 3rd and 5. I know that much. It was more than 5 yards. And he made the play himself. Nobody was open. They knew he was going to throw. So they left it open for the run. But he's elusive and quick enough that he got that first down. You see what I'm saying? But all it's going to take, somebody hit him the wrong way. Do they have a backup that can come in right now and do the same thing?
Nope.
No.
That's a
Okay,
big question.
So we do have a Florida State fan in here, and Justin. Justin, what was your thoughts on the Utah versus Florida game?
Basically, like what my man was saying, man. Hey, y'all just made the plays when it was time to make the plays. I really want to see AR.
Justin, you sound pretty low.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. What's your assessment on Florida versus Utah?
I was saying basically, like what my man was saying, man. He made the plays when he had to make them.
Hold on,
But I
Justin,
want
because
to see.
we're getting an echo from your mic. If you have YouTube open, close YouTube. Once you open up StreamYard, you don't need YouTube anymore. All right. While he gets that together, Jordan Bowman, what's going on with you?
What's up, man? What's up?
Okay, so Florida versus Utah. What was your assessment of that game? What's your thoughts on AR-15, his performance?
I thought he played well. I mean, he validated a lot of people's hype. He's that guy. He's that. I mean,
was Florida that good, or was Utah overrated?
I don't think not either. I mean, this swamp is a tough place to play. I'm getting an echo. I don't.
Yeah, I'm hearing an echo, so I'm not sure where it's coming from.
But yeah, I had the YouTube muted, so it shouldn't be me. But yeah, no, I think he validated a lot of people's hype of him. He played well when it mattered. He ran the ball really well. I mean, Florida's. I'm not ready to say Florida's going to be like great this year, but they're a lot better than people gave them credit for going into the year.
And also the Florida State versus LSU game. What was your assessment on that one?
Florida, I mean, Jordan Travis has improved as a passer. And Florida State has better receivers than they did last year. So by that alone, their offense is like a million times better. I thought the offensive line blocked really well. Trayshawn Ward looks really good right now. Defense the defensive line especially looked really good. Florida State's going to be a tough out.
Okay, so Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Now, clearly, we've been seeing a lot of slander on DJ. Klubnik came in for like one series, scored a touchdown or whatever. What was your thoughts on DJ's performance, Clemson's performance against Georgia Tech leading up to the end?
I think the jury's still out on DJ. He definitely looked a lot better in a lot of areas from last year. I thought he threw a lot of balls that the receivers just didn't catch that should have been caught. I was really disappointed in the receivers. The right side of the offensive line looked horrible. I mean, Blake Miller starting at right tackle, true freshman, he highly recruited guy, but he looked like a true freshman on Monday night, and that hurt a lot of our that hurt the pass protection, hurt the run game, hurt a lot of things, and but. I came out of that game still kind of, positive because, they got better as the game went on, and, they looked a lot better in the second half. And obviously Cade coming in, he looked great. So it's, I do think that DJ is probably DJ's still going to be the starter, but I do think they gotta play Cade each week. I want to see him play, at least a couple series every game, no matter what, because I think he's eventually we're going to need him. So, but I do think this offense is going to look better as the year goes on. The defense looked great. So all in all, if y'all remember this game last year, we only scored 14 points on Georgia Tech. So 41 points, no matter how you get them, is an improvement. So.
All right, so Florida State guy says Clemson's gonna suck unless they start the Klubnik guy.
No,
What's your thoughts on
Clemson's gonna suck if we don't fix our offensive line and our receivers don't catch the ball. that's the number one. Those are the number one and number two issues. Quarterback wasn't the problem Monday night. It was the offensive line and the receivers.
All right, so since Florida State is speaking on Clemson and you saying you guys are gonna suck unless you start Klubnik, what was your thoughts on Florida State versus LSU? Jordan Travis's performance, Florida State's pros and cons.
Who, me? Who?
Yeah, you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, no, Florida State's going to be good. Well, hold on. Let me back up. I don't want to overreact, but Florida State's a lot better. They're a lot better than they were last year. So I do think they can get to it. If they play their cards right, they could get to 8 wins. I think that should be. I still think that should be the goal. But yeah, they're going to be. I think if you look around the league, I think some of the games you might have chalked up as L's don't seem as guaranteed anymore. Everyone thought that NC State was going to be really good. They didn't look great on Saturday. I think that might be a tougher game for them than we initially thought. I think Florida State could possibly win that game. Louisville, I think that's winnable. Syracuse is obviously winnable. Boston College looked bad, so that's winnable. I mean, a lot of the games in the Atlantic, Florida State can win. And if Clemson doesn't play, if Clemson doesn't improve, that's going to be that could be a dogfight too, like it was last year. So. Florida State's got, if you look at it around the league, Florida State has a chance to have a nice season. So,
I mean, I just want to say one thing on that Florida State game was where was that 3-headed monster at?
I mean, they were going up against a good defensive line. I'm not going like
that defensive line was missing 2 of their best players.
They're still LSU still. I mean, they got some dudes up front. I'm just.
I know. Yeah, they talked real heavy about that 3-headed monster, and that 3-headed monster averaged 3 yards per carry. They got shut down in the game. That offensive line caved multiple times.
I mean, they were playing in New Orleans. Hey, listen, I'm not ready to like throw all that out. They did what they had to do to win. Jordan Travis made up for it with his arm. So it is what it is. I don't know. Y'all got me defending Florida State. This is crazy.
No, but I think.
Okay, here's the thing. Let's compare Florida State's quarterback, Clemson's quarterback, and the Florida Gators quarterback. If you had to basically put them in order from bad to worse, from good to worse. How about that? Who had the best performance over the weekend?
The best performance, AR-15.
Yeah.
I put AR.
Yeah. But the way I see it is Jordan Travis is probably the most polished right now. AR probably has the highest ceiling, and DJ is, I don't know yet.
Yeah, his is like kind of iffy because he see, this is new for Clemson because they never had a quarterback that was iffy like this in recent years. Because who did they have? Who always came to play? Trevor Lawrence played. He showed up. You know what I'm saying? And
Kelly Bryant was he wasn't great, but he ran the offense. The offense was better under Kelly Bryant than it was under DJ.
All right, Justin Tinsley. You're a Florida State fan. Like I said, can you say something so we can see that we can hear you good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay.
Hello?
What was your thoughts on the Utah versus Florida game?
Hey, okay. I really didn't watch it. I was in New Orleans, man. I was too busy on Bourbon Street before I even watched that. But watching the highlights, I can't say AR got loose. That's the only thing I did see. AR got loose up the sideline a couple of times. But my only thing with AR is like, okay, what is he going to do when the team forces him to stay in the pocket and actually throw the ball? What kind of quarterback would they have then? That would be the only thing I want to see from AR because we know he got the wheels.
That's a good question.
And a good question too is who, if let's just say AR goes out, who is the backup quarterback?
Is,
They
is,
got
I
his
think
is,
that
mouth
Jack,
backup
guard, don't
quarter.
they?
I think that
and is
backup
Jack Miller
quarterback is
from
hurt.
is Jack
Isn't it
Miller
Max
from Ohio
Johnson?
State?
Let me see.
Is
Yeah, I think
Jack
it's
Miller from
Jack
Ohio
Miller
State?
from
Ain't it?
Ohio State, but I think he hurt right now.
Oh, is he hurt? Oh.
Damn.
Because I mean
So
the same thing for Florida State. When it comes to quarterback, if Jordan Travis were to go
Oh,
down,
if Jordan Travis
would
right.
go
can
out, our
Florida
season
State
done. We over. That's it. This is
can
it.
Florida State actually depend on Rudemaker to actually,
Nah, man.
God
I
no.
don't know.
I don't think he'll put Rodemaker. I think he'll just take his
Just throw
lead to
Duffy
AJ
in there?
Duffy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
there's no way you could do that to him. Duffy's not even. There's no way. I mean,
I,
either way, the FSU, if they lose Jordan Travis, they're not winning one game on that schedule.
neither one of them are ready to start. So
Nah.
but
I
my
mean, you
thing
saw
is
what's his name come in.
you've seen it so much from Tate Rodemaker to the point that what's the point even
They
putting him
got
out there? You know what he's going to do.
I know it's. I mean, his first play he threw a
I
pick.
would rather just ruin Tate Rodemaker more than
they got
throw
Walker
AJ
Howard
Duffy
for
in there
LSU.
too
He's
early.
a
Exactly. Yeah.
4-star.
If Tate Rodemaker is going to suck, at least you know he's going to suck. I don't want to ruin my future at quarterback.
Yep.
so we got a Florida State fan comment that basically if Rudemaker was playing that they would lose to JSU. I don't think he has to be playing for you guys to lose to JSU. I mean, you can play Milton, you can play Travis. You lost to JSU regardless.
We didn't play Travis last year. We played JSU. Though. That's the point.
They played what's the name did? Mackenzie
McKenzie
Milton.
played that whole game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
All right, so obviously
never should
Florida
have
this
happened.
weekend they're playing Kentucky. Jordan Bowman, what's your thoughts on that game?
Man, I mean, it's going to be it was a close game last year. I think it's going to be a close game again this year. The Florida's at home this time, so obviously it's a different starter at quarterback. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I like Florida. I think they're going to win.
John, what's your thoughts?
On what game? What game's that we're talking about?
On Florida versus Kentucky.
Ah, man, that's a tough one because Kentucky's honestly on the rise. They have a great coach. They have a great friggin' offense. I think Kentucky is going to slip one here and get the Gators.
Okay, so you're taking Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky.
Justin, what's your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I ain't really believing the Billy Napier hype right now, man. I think Utah actually gave them that game last week anyway. But Mark Stoops is a defensive head coach when it comes to defense and everything like that. So hopefully he can draw up something to keep AR in the pocket and not beat him with their legs. If they can not let AR beat him with their legs, I like Kentucky. But if AR get to running wild, it'll be a long night.
I hope little ETN gets more carries. He looked good when he touched the ball.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. They want to
Looking
be more
like
like
his
a
brother.
ground and pound offense, too. But if they start mixing in the RPO and let AR get loose, it's going to be a long night, though.
He runs exactly like his brother. It's like uncanny.
Who's Clemson's next opponent?
Furman.
Furman.
There ain't nobody important either way.
Yeah, no, they ain't.
Ain't nobody
They ain't
important.
gonna tell us nothing. I mean, the only thing I want to see from that game is just make the layups,
man, I got
make
a
the easy
question,
stuff
too,
look
Swap.
easy.
Go ahead.
What's up with y'all defense, man?
I think our defense is perfectly fine. I mean, first drive, yes, was like totally terrible. Bethune marched the ball with ease, converted a 3rd and 23. A couple of our linebackers looked a little slow, but as you seen, as the game went on, everybody settled down and we was fine. We're just fine.
Yeah. I got to honestly, I'll piggyback off that phrase though, but the thing is that it's not the defense that I had a problem with. It's the effort. The effort is everything. Like you sitting here running after the quarterback during the blitz, and then once he's out of the pocket, it's like you jogging to go get him. It's like I got him. Oh no, the next guy will get him, but the next guy is jogging too. Like
Yeah, I saw
that
that.
is a problem. Yeah, like you can't start off good and then just like, nah, I'll just play. I wasn't gonna tackle you. I'm just playing. No, you can't do that. Because Mario ain't gonna have that. This is not the other regime. You got to be able to hustle. Jafari Harvey was on a dude. When he saw my man running up the daggone sideline, my man tried to hawk him down,
He
and
got him
damn near
down
got him.
30 feet down. He caught 30
Right.
feet. That's
Yeah.
pathetic, honestly,
Now
for
I
any
must say this.
quarterback that got passed by him.
That first drive, I think the defense came out like, this is a lesser opponent. Let me just,
Yeah.
go out there and play down to competition. And I think they're starting to get it that Mario is not with that. You're gonna give
Right.
100% effort. You're gonna respect every single opponent that we play. You're not just
Exactly.
gonna downgrade them because they're a lesser team.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Because
the effort's gonna get fixed for sure. But I
oh,
also
that's
think that a play,
yeah.
like a whole thing with that was that this was more of like a tryout for Miami to figure out what kind of matchups, like who they want in the game for Texas A&M. Like that's what this game in Southern Miss is for Mario. Is that they're putting in plugs to see who they like best in certain positions against opponents. That's why you saw a lot of different rotations, and I felt like
Yeah.
that kind of that led to mistakes because you had guys that weren't playing with each other. Like you had Kelly in there multiple times as a freshman, and he got so excited, and that's what led to the quarterback getting completely open,
Yeah.
running downfield because he was just so excited to get to the quarterback instead of doing his
Yeah.
job of containing the quarterback.
Right.
So
But but that's a freshman. That's a freshman mistake that won't happen no more.
exactly,
Because but see, that's the thing. That's why we have the coaches in order to coach these kids up. Because that never happened again. Even with the interception with Cam Kitchens, he made that interception. You seen how he reacted? He was
yeah,
excited. He got the first interception of the year. Starting out, got excited, spiked the ball, cost him a 15-yard penalty. When I tell you, and Mario pulled that whole secondary down and chewed their asses out, that's what we needed.
yeah.
But you
Man
see,
said
when
he
they
thought he
caught
was
up,
finna get the
Gilbert
turnover
Frierson
chain.
caught one. He went down there, he celebrated, did that in the third. He ain't spiked no ball, he ain't do nothing. Didn't James Williams catch one too?
Yeah,
So James Williams caught one. Same thing. Ain't no taking no helmet off, letting the crowd see who you are. They know who you are. You don't need to do all that.
All right, so we got a stupid comment here. FSU 10-2,
Stupid comment.
Florida 6-6, Miami 7-5.
Oh Lord. Oh
Um,
Lord.
any thoughts on this ridiculousness?
It ain't worth commenting on.
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
think
so.
those are the type of people that just look for attention, just to make themselves feel important. Like they type and they hear, they like to see what they type and like to hear themselves talk, just to
Well,
make themselves
he's
feel
more of
important.
he's more of a channel. He's more of the channel troll, but his trolling is so low level that most of the time we just ignore it
Right? Like
because
he's just.
it never really have any substance. It never really have any trigger points. Nothing.
Have you ever invited him into the thing, T2I?
That's a kid, bro. It's a little kid.
He's a who?
It's a little kid.
Oh, never mind. Oh, he a baby, so he's okay.
Yeah,
So
he's a little kid.
well, now never mind.
Now, Florida State, obviously, right now they're running high. They just beat the mighty Duquette. They beat LSU. They're sitting on the high horse right now. They think a lot of their fans are online saying that they're back. Is FSU back?
No,
No.
No,
Matter of fact, let me ask Justin because Justin he's a Florida State fan. Justin, is FSU back?
no.
What do you need to see from FSU to say that they're back this season?
We won't be back this season, no matter what I see. I mean, we gotta honestly, Florida State football, man, we gotta pick it up on all levels, on the field and on the field, man. Recruiting gotta pick up, on the field product gotta pick up. Because I mean, if you look at that LSU game, man, we've left so many points out there on that field. That game should
Yep.
never even been close, man. That's just like
Right.
that. Like back in the
Exactly.
day, that Florida State football that would have never happened, man. Like that's what I'm saying. We would have blew that the LSU team out. That's just like the execution needs to come with it. Right now, they learning how to win or whatever like that. You can sell whatever like that. But yeah, I mean, like
Well, and
we got
that's
to
what I
pick it
think.
up on all
A lot
fans.
of fans and just in general drink that Kool-Aid a little bit when they see that, and they or we're 2-0 for the first time in a long time. But it's like that coaching staff almost lost in that game, and that should be scary because if they did that in that game, it's like it's gonna happen down the line. Like they're gonna lose games because of the same coaching staff did the same thing against Jacksonville State. It didn't learn their lesson and did it against LSU and almost threw the game. I mean.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And
like I
even
said, like okay,
if you think
like
about our recruiting, look at the recruiting. They have no quarterback right now. I mean, you guys have no future quarterback besides AJ Duffy.
That's scary. Like
That's a
I
problem.
they
like remember I said this before T2 while like what would happen if Jordan Travis go out with a season ending injury, God forbid? What they gonna do? What's gonna happen?
Now, what was your guys' thoughts on that last play that Norvell called that nearly cost them the game?
I
The
mean,
fumble on the 2 yard line.
I was in the stands saying go jumbo and quarterback sneak, man. This thing like the Miami game last year, it's the same situation, man. You on the goal line. You got a minute and some left. Quarterback sneak it 3 times. If you don't get it, oh well, they just gotta burn their timeouts, man. The game over with. It ain't the risk reward wasn't even worth it, man.
yeah, putting the ball in the air like that. I mean, I'm sure they practiced it, but I don't know why.
I saw some
We ran the
comment on
play
that.
one time. We ran the play that one time or whatever like that, and it worked. I mean, like if he would have caught the pitch, he would have walked in. Nobody would be thinking about it. But even like okay, like I said, the risk reward was just too much, there, man. You basically, like you said, you basically gave the game, could have gave the game away with that.
Now, same question. We saw a similar ending with the Florida versus Utah game, where basically Utah ended up biting themselves in the foot, throwing in double coverage, interception, game over. What was your guys' thoughts on that last play that Utah called?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a good play by Florida. I mean, they jumped it. They sat back. I think Cam Rising wasn't expecting it, and he tried to fit it in.
Now, did any of you guys actually take any time to see the review of that play and saw how wide open that one guy was, like 2 feet away from him?
No, I didn't see that.
No, I'm watching the Jazz game right now.
Yeah, so basically at the end, he had somebody wide open. He could have scored, but threw into double coverage. So that was a mistake made on the quarterback's end. So this whole Florida beating Utah thing, to me, I don't give Florida too much credit because Utah did bite themselves in the foot a lot of times during that game.
Yep, I'm watching them bite themselves in the foot right now.
That's what I was saying. That's why I didn't understand the jump to number 12 in the polls, right?
Yeah, I don't see why Florida jumped that high. They beat. Now, granted that Utah was ranked 7th, but they only won that game by what? Was it 4 points?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so.
And not to mention it's week 1 where half of these teams are overly ranked. They don't really know where to put them.
Well, I think that's why. I mean, like I said, I think that Florida team should have been ranked. I mean, they have the talent to be ranked. Like last year, if you look at their schedule, I mean, they almost beat Alabama.
They only lost by 2 damn points.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
they almost beat Alabama, but then you also see that same team turn around and get beaten by
They
South
got
Carolina,
by
almost 30.
Kentucky, Mizzou.
oh yeah, but I'm
LSU
saying like the
team
talent
last year.
wise though is there though. They always
And
had the
then,
talent.
and then they end up end the season off losing to UCF. So it's
Oh no, for
definitely
sure.
it definitely didn't warrant them to be ranked this season.
Yeah, but did Miami deserve to be ranked? Not really. I don't think so, at least.
That's that new coach hype right there. That's all
I
that
know.
is.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
but if
Florida had that.
you look at Miami's finish last year, other than that Florida State loss, they didn't lose after that.
Yeah, but I mean, who do we play though?
And then looking at the talent that was brought in, plus the recruiting class and everything like that. I think Miami definitely deserve to be ranked. Now we could debate on where they should be ranked, but definitely should be in the top 25.
Yeah,
I
I
think they're
would
both
think that.
pretty even, honestly, in my opinion. Where Florida and Miami are at. I think they're way better off than FSU, just coaching wise. Like I
Yeah,
just don't
I
think
think.
Norvell's the guy.
Well, he gonna have to. Well, he gonna have to do something
I
this year. He
think
gonna have to put
Norvell
him
is kind of
position like
like
that.
I think Norvell is like the gap guy, man. Norvell's the guy, okay, because they claim it was so many locker room issues and everything like that. I think he was the guy they came. He's the guy to come in and fix that, and then the next guy will be walking into a better situation than he did. And hopefully they thinking that next guy can like jumpstart it or whatever and get it back to where it
Deion
needs to be.
Sanders.
Oh no.
Dude,
Yeah, Dion
hey,
ain't going
listen,
on.
I think he could if he went to FSU in the next 3-4 years, bro. I think he could do something.
There's
I'd be
rumors about
scared
him
as a
trying to
Miami
go to
fan. I'd be
Georgia
scared,
Tech.
but yeah, no, I saw that. So
Mm-mm.
I don't know, man. The only thing about Dion, if Dion come, he bringing half of that talent that he got on that team with
that's
him.
what I'm saying. Like he could recruit though. Recruiting is literally like 60-70% of college
Yeah,
football. Like if you can't recruit, you're not winning. It's not happening, and Georgia's proof of that.
right.
All right, so we got a question here. Okay, well, should Clemson have been ranked number 4?
No.
No,
No.
no. But I think we can. I think Clemson can get to that point. I don't think they're that far off. I mean, the defense alone makes them competitive with anybody.
That
But yeah,
defense is
the
their
offense
backbone.
offense does not warrant us being top 5 right now. No.
That if it wasn't for that defense, if that defense was like that offense,
Oh well, yeah, no,
ooh,
we going 4-8.
that might be
But
Dabo's last season. Uh,
Dabo's got a lifetime contract. He ain't going nowhere.
you think so?
Unless
Unless Nick Saban leaves.
Dabo
That's
could
it.
go 9-3 for the rest of
I
his
don't think
career.
he'll
He ain't
leave
going
for
nowhere.
Alabama.
Uh, I don't know, dog. They talking about him polishing him to get ready to go take Nick Saban's spot. 'Cause Saban days is number.
No. I think Saban's gonna name who he wants to. He's gonna name his successor. That's what's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be Dabo.
I
They're
don't
they're
know.
friends, but I don't think he's gonna pick him.
I don't know. We'll see.
What y'all think
Yeah.
about that Texas Alabama game this weekend?
Ooh,
Oh,
man.
Alabama's gonna friggin' roll tide them. It's gonna be a bloodbath. I feel like it's
Man,
another Texas overhype.
I don't know. Start Keishan. You got to show me something.
I got a few games that we could talk about. Earlier, I did a top 8 games this week to pay attention to, so we could talk about them. We could actually start with Alabama and Texas. Does anybody think that Texas has any sort of chance to upset Alabama at all?
I think they do, yeah. Small chance, yeah.
I mean,
I
everybody
mean,
got a chance, right?
everybody got a chance. Everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. But the question is, when you get punched in the mouth, what do you do? Do you sit there and continuously getting punched in the mouth and getting uppercut and body slam, or do you punch the motherfuckers back? What you gonna do? Do you
I feel
strike
like this.
back?
I think the first quarter will be close. You know how you would be in a big game. The first quarter be like a seesaw, feeling not matching everything like that. Then Alabama start to pull away once the second quarter, so on
Uh, all I
like
know
that.
is you better come with your A game when you playing with Alabama. No pun
I,
Here's
intended.
here's a
I,
better question. Can Texas actually cover the spread? Because the spread is sitting at 20.
It's gonna be tough.
That's
I don't
That's
see
disrespectful.
gonna
where
be
they get it.
tough, boy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
there's no
don't
I
know
don't
about
I
Alabama
that
don't see
one.
where they
underdog
get
at
it.
home. That's
Yeah.
disrespectful.
I don't
Are
think
they playing in
Alabama's gonna blow them
Alabama or
out.
are they playing in Texas?
They playing in
it's in
Texas.
Texas.
That's
Okay,
why I
so
said
they
that's
playing.
disrespectful,
And the
Okay.
man.
over and under is at 65 and a half.
Oh,
Texas's O
So
line scares me.
so
I
they're
don't see how they're
definitely
gonna block.
thinking that both of these teams are going to put up some points, whether it's mostly on Alabama's side. But the
yeah.
spread of 20, I'm not quite sure if Texas can cover that spread.
I mean, Texas is heading in the right direction, but at this point, there's just absolutely no way they're gonna even come close to beating Alabama. I don't think. And just the history of Saban's former coaches beating him is very. I think the only was Jimbo and Kirby Smart. So just in that alone, I'm taking Alabama by the spread.
Yeah.
All
I,
right, so
I don't see where they
another
get it.
one, another one I said to pay attention to is App State versus Texas A&M. Obviously, App State just did what they did against North Carolina. Um, Basically 2 point short from going into overtime, possibly causing an upset. We see Mac Brown in the locker room celebrating like they literally won the Super Bowl or something.
No,
What's
he's
what's your
celebrating that.
thoughts
Teacher.
What's your thoughts on this game? Do you think App State can actually pull an upset on Texas A&M? And we'll start with Alakazam.
Uh, I didn't think. Well, damn. Overall, I'm gonna say no. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout though.
Yeah, this game is at Texas A&M. Also, the over and under is
Oh,
54, and Texas A&M is a 19-point favorite.
yeah.
Mhm.
What's your thought, Jordan?
Mm. It's going to be. I mean, A&M started slow this past week, but I don't know. I'm rooting for my boy Chase Bryce. He looked good yet last week, but it's A&M's defense is a different animal.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
are.
know.
Jeff, to answer your question, I do think Miami will cover the 26-point spread against Southern Miss. Um, Chris, what's your thoughts on App State versus Texas A&M? Can App State pull an upset?
If Texas A&M is not careful and App State bring their A game, App State gonna beat them. But if Texas A&M is clicking, I think they'll pull it out. But it won't be no blowout. I think it'll be competitive, but it won't be no blowout. 'Cause
Now, let's just say that App State goes into Texas A&M and Texas A&M do absolutely demolish them. It's not even close. Going into that game against them that week, as Miami fans, would y'all thoughts shift on that game? Because I know a lot of Miami fans think that we will win that game. If they totally demolish App State, will a lot of thoughts change on that?
no, no, we just gotta come with our A game. We're gonna be
It's
trying
not gonna
to.
change my mind.
It's all the mindset. You come in there playing like, listen, we not scared of these dudes. We know where we at. We know what's against us. We the underdogs because we are the underdogs. But we gonna come in here and we gonna play Miami football and we gonna do this right.
Well, here's my
We gonna
thing.
be a problem.
Here's
Do
my
you?
thing I noticed about Miami. When you play big teams and it doesn't go away, y'all give up way easily. I saw that with the last time y'all played Clemson and the offsides y'all got. Ever since then, y'all just gave up. If y'all go in this game and don't give up when something doesn't go your way, yeah, you can win. That's something Miami has to work on. That's not being disrespectful. It's just what I've seen when y'all
Oh no,
play
you're
big teams
right.
like
Is
Clemson.
that? But see, you know what though? It's not being disrespectful at all. I don't take it as being disrespectful. I take it for being the absolute truth because it's what the mindset that we have that was being coached up. When things don't go your way, now you quit instead of fighting. If that would have been the case, we wouldn't have the team that we have. Don't
Yeah,
nobody want
true.
to come to no school full of quitters. Just because you down, that means you out. We was down to Florida State 27-7 when we played them. We could have quit then at home, but we didn't because the boys ain't want to quit.
Right. So,
That's the type of mentality that you gotta have.
all right.
We've
So
been
this.
down in games
Well,
before.
one thing I think with the Miami and A&M game is that, and I think with all Miami's games is that Miami has the best quarterback. I feel like in all their games that they're going to go against someone on their schedule, and I feel like that's literally the X factor in all those games. I mean, Jimbo Fisher, since he hasn't had Jameis Winston, hasn't done nothing, and the quarterback they have now isn't going to do nothing for them. So
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know
Another
one thing: we just gotta bring our A game. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
another thing
Brandon.
I gotta say
Brandon.
is like
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, okay, like you got to think about TVD too. Has he learned to kind of like embrace that situation that he's going into? Because you got to think about, okay, we can say like, okay, Florida State game was probably like the biggest environment that he played in last year. And when he started off slow, so my thing is, can he come in and like embrace that environment? Know, like you say, know where he's at, and not start off as slow as he did. Don't let the environment get to him, basically.
All right, I see.
As he stepped up from that.
So we got Brandon Bowling. He says if Richardson has another game like Utah against Kentucky, he will be my Heisman favorite. I wouldn't put AR in any Heisman conversation at all, but that's just me. Um, Next game on the list, Tennessee versus Pitt. This one's in Pittsburgh. Tennessee is coming in as the favorite, a 6-point favorite. Over and under sitting at 66.5. Do you guys think that Pitt can pull this win, even though they're at home and being labeled as the underdog?
I mean, can they? Yeah.
100%. Pitt's
Man.
a legit team. They're the one team in the Coastal that scares me as Miami, because they could be a trap game. That if we do beat A&M, God forbid we somehow luckily we beat Clemson, I feel like Pitt is that team that they're just coached good. They have a great quarterback and their D lines are really good. So
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I'm worried about with Pitt is their DBs are tiny, and I don't like that matchup with Tennessee's receivers. So I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But if Tennessee makes it, if Pitt makes it an ugly, low scoring game, I think they win. But they can't win a track meet, not without like Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison and those guys.
Does Pitt have the depth on the defensive line to keep up with Tennessee? That would be the thing too.
I don't think they
You know,
do.
I think they got the D line. I'm not worried about. I mean, they gave up some rushing yards, but I think they're gonna fix that. They
they play that up tempo offense now. Tennessee with Josh Heupel and everything like that. That's what I mean. Like they're going fast every time like that. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
They don't have the depth like we do, but they think they got some.
All right. Also, another game to look out for. You got the Big Ten versus the Pac-12 with Wisconsin versus Washington State. Wisconsin is at home. They are 17.5-point favorite with over and under at 49. Is there any way that Washington State can come in there and pull an upset?
No.
God no.
Nah. There's going to be a negative.
I don't even know who their head coach is.
Only thing Washington State known for is that flag in college game. But that's it.
And Mike Leach when he was there. Those are the two things.
Brian Watson, quick question for you. I'm at Brock Watson. Quick question for you. Texas versus Alabama. Is there a possible way that Texas could pull that upset?
Well, I mean, I don't know because I don't know. I mean, I really think Alabama's the better team, so all the way around, the talent's a lot better. I'm not saying Texas don't have talent because they do. They have B. John Robinson, one of the best running backs in the nation right now. So it just depends if we can stop B. John Robinson, But I got 45-17, my final score. So.
Also, to catch you up on the show, basically, what was your thoughts on Florida versus Utah?
I just think Utah played a good game, but they played in the swamp, and I just think Florida's defense kind of stepped up at the end right there, and I think their Utah quarterback just made a bad decision on that last throw there for that interception.
Yeah, and what's your thoughts on LSU versus Florida State?
I think LSU don't have explosive offense, and I just think this year they're not going to win as many games as people think, and I just think it's going to be a bad year for them. And Brian Kelly, he's going to have a rough year with LSU, and maybe next year they'll be better. But I think Florida State win maybe 7, 8 games. I don't know. I think they could win 7 or 8 games, but they could also go 6-6. I mean, so
And what about Florida?
uh, I think they win 8 or 9 games, 8 or 9. So they might go like 8-4, 9-4, 9-3, something like that. I don't, you know.
Okay, all right. So another game I was talking about earlier. We already talked about Florida, Kentucky, USC, Stanford. Is there any way that Stanford could possibly pull an upset on USC? Stanford is known for pulling upsets on teams, even when they're not ranked or causing havoc in the Pac-12. What do you guys think, Jordan Bowman?
They beat USC last year. Wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know. They is I like USC. I think.
When's that game at?
Um, where's it at?
I think it's at Stanford.
Might be at Stanford.
Yeah, it's at Stanford. USC is an 8-point favorite, over and under 67.5.
I mean, Stanford got Tanner McKee for Stanford, that quarterback. He looked good last week. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he kind of dotted him up a little bit. But I don't think they can keep up with. I don't think they can keep up with USC on the scoreboard. So I'm gonna take USC, but it wouldn't surprise me if they lost that game.
I think as far as that, I mean Stanford, that's a sneaky team, man. You gotta stay on top of them, or if not, they're gonna beat you. But I think USC just has too much firepower with the add to your man Addison, Caleb Williams. He got like they have an actual chance to run the Pac-12 this year, but they have to when they get Stanford down, you have to keep them down. You got your foot on their neck, it better stay there. The moment you lift up is the moment they they come back and they beat you. The next thing you know, well, why are they tied up with us, or why are they about to score, or why they about to win the game? You let
All
them
right.
back in. You can't
So
take them for granted.
Arizona State versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is at home, 11.5-point favorite, 58 over and under. Can Arizona State pull an upset?
I say yes. I think they can. I think
They
they can.
could.
Who are they playing?
They're playing.
Oklahoma State.
To me, in this one, I think this year Oklahoma State is going to finally get over the hump. So I'm definitely going to take Oklahoma State. Arizona State, don't get me wrong. I think they'll be a decent team, but I don't think they're quite there yet to beat Oklahoma State. Baylor versus BYU.
I'm taking
Mm,
Baylor.
yeah, I think I might
I think
have Bail on that one.
Now
yeah,
BYU
yeah.
is the favorite in this game by 3 points. The over and under is 53.5, and it's being played in Utah.
Damn,
Mm.
yeah, BYU. Damn, that's gonna be a good game. I don't know.
Yeah, I got
I'm
BYU.
definitely going to take BYU now. Most
Yeah.
people will say that Baylor will come out with this one, but I'm going to go with BYU. Hopefully, they can knock off Baylor. BYU were to knock off Baylor, they'll definitely pass us in the rankings. But with Baylor dropping, we'll definitely still go up.
Oh wait, they're playing Baylor.
Yeah.
Oh, now I got Baylor. I heard you wrong. Now I got Baylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
got Baylor.
just
All right. So
Baylor.
I kind of wanted to rush through that to get to
Alabama.
this comment. To get to
All
this
right.
comment that's on the screen right now. Y'all are crazy. Florida State is winning the
oh
ACC this
man.
year and will enter the college football playoffs.
Oh
Mm,
man.
anyway, move on to the next question. We'll move
Yeah.
ahead.
All right. So the
I, oh,
topic
I got a
is
question real quick. What do you think about Oregon?
I
I
think it
think
was overranked. Oh my
What's
bad. You was talking to you, boy.
what's the best and worst case scenario?
the best case scenario for Oregon is that basically that Georgia game they were just outmatched by the better opponent, and then they just run through the Pac-12, win the Pac-12 championship, or if not that, something close. It'll definitely do Dan Lennon some good to get some ground on recruiting. But
Yeah.
if they continue to play the same way they played that first game against Georgia, which I don't think they will in that Pac-12, because I don't think anybody else in the Pac-12 can stand up to a Georgia or even come close to matching up like that. So I think their biggest issue would be a Utah or even a what's that,
Oregon State's
USC.
pretty good.
Yeah, but I think their matchups would be USC and
And they play
Utah,
BYU as well.
and possibly BYU also.
Georgia
But
plays Stanford, so
But as far as the Florida State winning the ACC championship goes, that's not happening. Them going to the playoffs, that's not going to happen. Let's not hype yourself up just because you beat a bad LSU team. LSU is way off. A
Hey
lot of
man,
people
cut that
saw
out,
the
man. Cut that
downfall.
out, man. Cut that out.
Y'all are so you thinking that y'all gonna win the SEC?
I'm not
The
thinking we're gonna win the ACC. I'm just saying, before this game happened, everybody had that chalked up as a W for LSU. Am I right or wrong?
It should have been.
Am I right or wrong?
No.
Everybody had that chalked up as a W, right? I'm not saying
on
LSU
paper,
is not a bad team,
they were better than y'all.
but
Yes.
before that game happened, what was it? LSU's defensive line was gonna dominate and everything like that, and we went in New Orleans and we hit them in the mouth. And we showed
yeah,
them
I
different.
picked
I'm not
LSU
saying
to
we
win.
back and everything like that, but I'm just saying we went toe to toe with the SEC, one of the SEC power. They can't get back to what they needed to what you call it.
I do believe on those two. If the LSU's special teams didn't have those two muff punts, I don't
You
think
can
the
throw that out the
game.
window.
I
We
don't
had
think
zero.
the game
We
could have
got
been
zero.
that. I don't think it would have been as dominant coming from Florida State side as it looked because
You
y'all
got
went up 14.
You got to think about this though. We dropped 2 touchdown passes this side. We dropped 2 touchdown passes this size. The motherfuckers. We got 0 points off those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think
We dropped 2 touchdown passes. We missed the field goal also.
Yeah, but with both of those muff punts sucked the life out of LSU. They literally took away all the momentum that they had.
And they basically stopped us on the goal line and basically gained that momentum back. So it's
I think it was still a good win for FSU. I mean, considering
It
how
really
bad
is.
they've been like horrible. Like, so I feel like if they lost that game, I honestly don't know how their season might have turned out to have like 4 wins if they lost that game. The way
All
they
I'm
could have
saying
lost
is
it.
FSU. That's a good win.
I mean, honestly, like I say this, like, okay.
I mean, at the state that FSU has at their program, the state that it's in right now, that's a good win. But let's not, go over the top and says, "Oh, this is great. FSU is back. They're going to ACC championship. They're going to be in the playoffs." Because you beat an LSU team that's down that was like what 5-7 last year, with a new head coach, new coaching staff, new playbook, new scheme.
Well, that coaching staff is literally horrible.
And then they come out and you only beat them. You have a coach that's been there for 3 seasons now, and you only beat them by 1 point.
Hey, TTY.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question that's not too off topic?
Sure.
Do y'all think Ohio State is overrated? I do.
Yes. Bear.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yes, sir.
I think they're kind of like Clemson, like where the defense. I feel like Ohio State's defense is pretty solid with the
It really is.
DC.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I feel like the offense is kind of not clicked yet, but I feel like they could get that offense clicking down the road. So that's why I kind of compare them to Clemson.
Yeah. I mean, they played in.
Defense
I know y'all go.
from trash to solid.
Notre Dame's defense is good, y'all.
Exactly, and they played a good team. I mean, that was a tough team.
Yeah. That's a game we had. That's the kind of game we haven't seen Ohio State win in a long time, where they had to grind it out and just find a way to win. Like they're not used to that. So I mean, I don't like defending Ohio State, but I'm not ready to call them.
They're going to win the conference. I feel like. I don't see Michigan beating them. I don't see anyone else.
This guy says Florida State can win the ACC. They played Clemson tough last year.
A lot of teams played us tough last year. Georgia
Syracuse in Boston College played Clemson tough last year.
Listen, Florida State's only thing in that game was Jermaine Johnson. He's not even here anymore. So
when
pass.
Clemson had 4 points last year, every game was close.
Now, if you ask the Florida State fans, they'll tell you that this Jared Vert guy is just as good as Jermaine Johnson.
He's
Well,
not
I
he
don't
is
just
think
getting
Verse
good.
there,
is
man. He
bad,
can get there.
No, Verse is
but
good.
He's not.
but
He's not what Jermaine was when he
No,
came
he's not
in.
Jermaine.
I feel like a lot of the stats were skewed in that game because if you watch the LSU game, that quarterback tried running instantly. Like he was literally putting the ball away as he's in the friggin' pocket still, and he had a guy wide open downfield. So I feel like a lot of his sacks were due to himself trying to run out of the pocket instead of like checking his checkdowns and throwing it to a receiver that was wide open multiple times. So I
I
feel
think
like
I think Vert is like inconsistent because where was he during the Duquesne game? I didn't see him do anything. They couldn't even get that much pressure on Duquesne's quarterback. They didn't even get but 1 sack in that game.
Duquesne was throwing the ball. Duquesne had a game plan. They was snapping the ball and throwing the ball as quick as they could to not even let the pass rush get there. After that game, the stat came out saying that Duquesne threw the ball faster than any offense did the past year before, like 0.5 seconds faster than any other offense. So they didn't have time to even let the rush get there. That would be my thing with the Duquesne game.
B Bean says, "Are we allowed to say "Go Gators" in here?" Yeah, you can say whatever you want, man. I'm not gonna kick you out for saying "Go Gators." This is a trash talking channel, so you definitely can say "Go Gators," whatever. They still ass though.
Oh, man.
But it's just like week one it's kind of hard to tell what
exactly.
teams are good and what teams are not good. You know, you just kind of got to
Everybody's drawing
wait till
conclusions.
everybody.
Yeah, ain't everybody's not gonna put all their bread and butter out there on week one to show the ops. It's gonna be very vanilla. When it get to the games that count, then you're gonna see certain things open up and certain plays come out and certain packages and stuff. But
Yeah,
that'd be crazy if you put that out week one, especially when you're not going against nobody that's worth going. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're an opponent. But even then,
yeah.
if they're not in your conference or if it's not conference play or anything like that, it's gonna be just vanilla. It ain't gonna
Yeah,
be, all the glitz and glamour, bells and whistles.
So Mike Williams says it's time to let TVD grip. Does anybody think that Travis Jordan Travis, or AR-15 is a better quarterback than Tyler Van Dyke?
I mean, I ain't gonna say that.
Hell no.
Why
I
you
ain't gonna say that
why
right
you
now.
ask these questions that you know the answer to already?
No, right now, no.
Nah.
This is my thing.
I don't think
Do
Travis
you
will. I
think
don't think Travis can get there, but
Mario
AR might.
Cristobal will let Josh Gaddis use TVD the way he's supposed to be used?
Definitely. Right now, Josh is calling plays from the box. He's definitely going to utilize TVD. The Bethune Cookman game that you guys watched, that was very vanilla.
Yeah.
They even came out in the press conference this week, whatever, and basically said that they're not unleashing the playbook or whatever. Let's just be real. None of our receivers went over the top. We didn't do anything extraordinary because we knew that game we were supposed to win. We would have dominated them. Chris, you got a bad echo. You got to go out and come back in.
Who, me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I got a question. So is Van Dyke a dual threat quarterback, or is he just like
Yeah, he can run.
he has the
He
ability
doesn't,
to
though.
run, but he's definitely more of a pocket present.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Pocket
if he basically do all his reads or whatever, and there's nothing there, he definitely has the capability of running. Not
How's
saying that he's like Michael Vick or anybody, but he definitely can run. He'll definitely pick up a few yards and slide.
how's Garcia doing? Did he get any in during that game?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's 8 for
Garcia
8.
came in. He threw 8 passes, complete 8 passes. So
He
I
looked
think
really good. I mean, he looked just like TVD, honestly. Like he looked posed, not worried, not.
So y'all pretty good at quarterback then if TVD goes down, right?
Yeah. Dude, and we got your Corey Brown, freshman. He's really
Oh,
nice.
that's
now,
right. Yeah.
I'll definitely say this: if Tyler Van Dyke at any point of the season were to get injured, God forbid, we'll be fine in the hands of Jake Garcia.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I don't know if you could say that at Florida or you could say that at Florida State. Seeing that
See the difference?
Yeah, seeing that both of their
I don't know
quarterbacks.
who their backups are. Shit.
I got a 4-star coming in next year too. Miami
Mhm.
quarterback.
Yeah,
See,
that's gonna be our
that's the
best
difference.
high-rated quarterback ever in Miami's history too.
And see, that's the difference. God forbid something
Miami
happen
got
to TGD.
Rashada
We
coming
got
next year.
somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well,
Yeah,
that's how you build champion. You got to reload on those quarterbacks, and I think that's what
Yeah,
happened
you
with
do.
exactly.
Clemson is that they got stumped on that one year where the quarterback didn't pan out with DJ last year.
I
Like
mean,
they were able
even
to
Yeah,
with
reload for the most part. I mean, if you think about it, they had
Rashada is
Deshaun,
a
Taj
tall.
Boyd,
yeah, I
Kellen
mean,
Yeah,
even
we
if you
didn't
Rashada,
look
have nobody.
if you look at our recruits right now, we got Rashada and we got Emory Williams,
Yeah,
two of the top quarterbacks in the country. Which, from what I'm hearing right now, Florida State is heavily in Emory Williams' ear, trying to get him to come to Florida State, seeing that they don't have a quarterback committed right now.
yeah,
Miami
Rashada's
Florida.
tall and lengthy. Like he got arm.
Let's
So.
see who y'all got. Yeah, y'all got who is it? Jaden Wayne? No, Jaden
Rashada.
They got
Yeah,
Rashada.
Jaden Wayne too.
Jaden Rashada,
Yeah.
Jaden Wayne,
What
yeah.
I need y'all
what
to
year
slow
is
down getting all these
what
recruits,
year
man.
is
Y'all need
Jake
to slow
Garcia?
down. Y'all need to slow
Nah,
down
we
getting
need
all
to
these recruits.
continue. We need to continue recruiting like that. The blueprint's been out there.
I mean, yeah, y'all
Yeah.
Miami,
got enough.
Miami
It's
created
fine.
it. Alabama got it going, still going.
I
Georgia's
mean,
took it.
Are
Ohio
y'all
State.
ahead of us? Are y'all ahead of us in the recruiting ranking, Clemson, or did we catch that?
No,
Clemson's
Clemson
uh,
ahead right now.
ahead right
Yeah,
now, but not by
Oh, okay.
much.
we're
yeah.
8, we're 9, and you guys are 8.
Alabama's number
Yeah.
one, Texas number two, Georgia number three, Ohio State four, I think, and then
Oh,
I think it's five.
Miami's probably
No,
gonna finish ahead of Clemson. We don't because Clemson never really takes any more than like 20 guys. I think we might take like 22, 23 in this class, but we never load up. We never take full classes.
We got a lot of guys. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've heard from other people is that Ohio State might lose a commit to Miami, one of their top commits, one of their 5 stars.
excuse me.
So
You talking about Brandon Ennis?
yep, he was at the Miami game.
That wide receiver.
Yep.
Oh Lord.
boy, if
Uh,
they lose him, that's a
there's
good
a
ass guy.
possibility for Brandon Ennis and running back Mark Fletcher.
Yeah. From
I
what
We
from
could
got
what I
take.
heard is that they were both
Texas.
at the Miami game last Saturday. So
I mean, yeah, there ain't really much. I mean, we're trying to get Tamari and Parker, but other than that, and
They got Tate too. Ohio State got Tate.
We need another wide
yeah,
receiver in our
Tate's
class. We
not
only got
coming.
one.
Tate wants him to be somewhere cold. He said.
All right,
yeah,
so as of right now, the recruiting rankings:
I
Alabama
know.
1,
we need a running back.
Texas 2, Georgia 3, Notre Dame 4, Oklahoma 5, Ohio State 6, LSU 7, Clemson 8, Miami 9, and Florida Gators 10. And Florida State is 23.
That's just brutal, dude. For a coach to be there for 3 years
Don't
and
worry about
you
it.
got
When we
2
get them
I
odds starting
recruits.
in
don't
another
see,
month, don't worry about
man.
it.
Look at their 2024 class though. They got 6 submits.
Stop.
Mm,
Well, I mean, if you can't make it to 2022, 2024 won't even matter, right? they'll
fact,
True.
all they'll all flip.
Don't worry about it.
You know,
right.
you know
When we
what I
get
say though,
Hakeem
man,
at the
is
end of the month, we'll
if they
jump
didn't
up.
have Atkins, dude, can you imagine where FSU would be?
No,
Like,
Atkins doing his thing right now.
dude, he is honestly saving that class.
Yeah, Atkins doing his thing, and
Jada
When we
Great,
get
he's looked
Hakeem
good
at
as
the end of the
OC
month,
so far.
we'll jump.
Jada Great said, "Let's be real, Florida State fans. LSU quarterback hot doodoo confirmed."
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, we
Do
knew
y'all
that though
think?
going
Going
in.
into the game.
Yeah,
We
we
knew
knew that
that
coming in the
already.
game.
Do y'all think Florida getting Cormani McClain?
I don't
Probably.
know. I don't know, honestly. That's a tough one. I know Miami's battling for him. You know, a lot of teams battling for him.
It's
Florida
between
got momentum
Alabama.
right now, but we'll see.
It's between Alabama, Florida, and Miami.
For that
That's what.
defensive
That's
lineman,
what.
DN.
No, Cormani McClain, the number one
Oh,
cornerback in the nation.
he'll probably go to
He
Alabama.
had
All the cornerbacks go there.
he
It
had
seems like
19. He had 19 interceptions last
Hmm.
year.
he'll go to
Yeah, he's
Alabama.
legit.
He'll
I
go
mean,
to
I think it's
Alabama.
going to
That's
depend
pretty
on
insane.
honestly how the season goes too. Like that's the same thing with Ruben Bain. Is if Miami does good, I mean, that's gonna gain a lot of commits depending on how we do against A&M.
They said he's gonna go to Florida because of Raymond.
Oh, of course. I mean, you got Corey Raymond there, and then you obviously Alabama. You got fucking
Dang, they got
what's
3
his
of the
name?
top safeties now.
Travaris Robinson.
Yeah,
We got
our
Travaris
guy.
Robinson from Miami.
And then we got our guy from Georgia. So, and then we got DeMarcus Van Dyke, obviously. So, it's definitely those
Dude,
three, though.
T-Rob, he's a damn good recruiter. He's really good.
No, yeah, he is. That's why
I
Alabama
can't
got
believe
him.
Miami lost him.
I mean, dude, Bama comes calling, bro.
Yeah, they gonna
I
listen.
mean, but hey, we got Georgia's DB coach. I mean, so I'm not. Honestly, I felt we got a pretty fair trade.
And that scared me because
Die.
Georgia went after Mike Reed at first. I was like, oh Lord,
Yeah.
that was gonna
Well,
that would be devastating. Mike Reed's one of our best recruiters.
Well, Georgia's got Muschamp. They got what's his
of course
name?
they're fucking loaded. I mean, they're like Bama.
Yeah.
They got head coaches at D. Well, so does Miami now, though. We have Charlie Strong as a linebacker coach. I mean, this guy was a head coach multiple
All right,
years. He was
so
successful.
Golden Blue Dude says I have Florida State at 25 and Florida at 23. Do you guys believe that Florida State should be ranked right now?
I mean, I wouldn't care either way because I feel
wouldn't
like
have a problem
it doesn't
with it.
matter. I feel like it doesn't matter. So
I wouldn't really be upset, but
Bro,
I think they
Texas
should.
A&M.
You go ahead.
I said Texas A&M only has 11 commits for the 2023 class.
You see that 2022 class though they got? Good God.
But what are they doing with it though? Like these kids look
Yeah,
booty
true.
as hell except their defense.
That defense
And the
was
only
good.
I'll tell you one guy that's gonna be really good for Texas A&M. That's that Stewart dude. That's a wide receiver, number 8. He's gonna be good.
Evan Stewart.
Yeah, Evan Stewart. Yeah, that's his name.
Well, you know the problem is, dude, they haven't had a quarterback. Like they can't get a quarterback.
Well, they got Connor
Bro.
Weigman. He's a 5-star, but that don't. I mean, look at
Haynes
DJ. He was
King
a 5-star.
freaking booty. They're gonna lose. Man.
The King guy, he played like complete shit against Sam Houston.
He's
He threw 2
ass.
picks. I mean,
He's ass. He threw an interception against Sam Houston
twice.
What?
I mean,
what the hell? Oh, he threw 2?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the other half. Holy shit. He ass.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like A&M's problem is going to be a quarterback again. It's the same thing they had last year and the year before.
I mean, he should have just put in Max Johnson that transferred from LSU. He's way better.
I'm honestly surprised that they didn't, but
yeah, I thought it was going to be Max.
And that's the thing I feel like with Oregon, like how Oregon is playing Bo Nix. I feel like that's just the dumbest. Dude, Bo Nix, we've seen Bo Nix.
Bro,
he's
Nick
trash.
sucks ass.
He's trash.
He's fucking dog shit.
They have a 5-star quarterback on their bench, and they were complaining that Mario Cristobal wouldn't play him, and now their new head coach is not playing him. It's like
That's all.
I think it would have. I don't think it would have got like real. Like I think they would have scored at least a touchdown if that had tie in as quarterback.
No,
I think they
Darrell Page.
Dillingham doing, man.
Now Darrell Page says that guy Sam Houston has the best FCS school in the nation.
Yeah, they do. I think they do because when I was watching the first half of the game, they said they won like a couple national championships in their conference or something. Yeah.
I think they did. They win last year's. I think they did. Yeah, I think they won the national championship last year in the SEC, something like that.
Now, does
their
that
quarterback don't look bad? He couldn't do nothing with Texas A&M's defense, but he was running the ball a little bit.
Does that give Texas A&M an excuse? Because I mean, App State is
Not
better
really,
than
no,
Sam Houston, so
they won it once in 2020. That's the only time they won it.
They Sam Houston holded Texas A&M to 17 points in the first half. That's not good, bro. That's not good.
Nah, especially for an SEC powerhouse. I mean, they're pretty. They've had great recruiting classes. So Jimbo's been there for what, 4 years now, 3 years.
So
you beat Alabama last year, and now you can barely like put up points against a doggone Sam Houston.
So life investment is not giving up on that Florida State is winning the ACC this year.
I know. I see Brandon Gibson said that Jay Travis is the top quarterback in the ACC.
No.
The ACC got some great quarterbacks. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah, they do.
Jordan
No,
Travis
I'm
ain't
gonna
bad,
tell you
man.
who's a great
He's not bad. I'll
quarterback.
give him credit.
That kid, Kate Klubnik, is gonna be really good.
Well, he is.
Is Larry
For
Yeah,
overrated?
he's
He needs to be
Is
started.
the quarterback from NC State, Larry? Is he overrated?
no. I think their offense is overrated though. I think their offense. Tim Beck is a bad coordinator.
I
He's
think
Yeah.
them
wasting
as a
that.
team
He's
is
wasting that
overrated.
roster.
You
I
know,
think Leary's as good a quarterback as NC State has had in a while.
yeah,
But
no.
here we go with the excuse.
Their team stinks.
They've had some
Well,
good quarterbacks, actually. I mean, if you think about
Yeah,
it.
Here we go with the
They always
excuses.
have a good quarterback.
I
We
think
fight
that
against the referees every game. Florida State do not fight against no referees every game. You take your L's and losses just like everybody else.
I
I think
remember when
Duke was very surprising. I don't know
Yeah,
if anyone
Duke
watched
was
that game.
good.
I was pretty impressed. I did
Yeah.
not think Duke would whoop up on Temple.
yeah. Riley Leonard, the court. Yeah, he had a good game. He looked good. I don't think they're great, but they're a lot better than
What they were.
They might be at least respectable.
I mean, they usually get beat up by Temple, not the other way
Yeah.
around. So
I remember
Well,
when
Jordan-
NC State had that quarterback from that went to the New England Patriots.
Jacoby
Who-
Brisket.
Jacoby
yeah,
Brissett.
Jacoby.
Yeah. And they had
Brissett,
Russell Wilson. They had Russell Wilson.
They had Russell Wilson. They had Ryan Finley.
Matt Ryan. Right? Or no,
Well,
he's on BC. Who do you have? They had not Matt Ryan.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers.
Will Jordan Travis stay healthy all season?
That's the question. I don't know. He hasn't the last 2 seasons, so
I think
No.
if he can
No,
have a
he's
game, if he can consistently play like he did against LSU and not take too many hits, yeah.
I mean, he took some hits though against LSU.
But my thing is, if he gets to running too much or whatever like that, and they get them free shots on him and everything like that.
I mean, who do
All
you
right,
got?
so
You guys-
Devin Larry is effing overrated. His throwing motion is horrible. He's the reason why NC State offense sucked. Defense will carry that team.
No, it's the scheme. The scheme is bad.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
No, that Leary kid's pretty good.
When you
I
watch
don't think
Devin
he's
Leary,
bad.
Devin Leary has the ball comes off so smooth off Devin Leary when he throws it. I don't know what you're watching, GBD. Devin Leary is talented.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good.
When he was out there at the Elite 11 and throwing with Caleb Williams and he looked like he belonged. Like he's good.
Yeah, he was
And
at the
I think
Elite
NC State's
11.
gonna
Huh?
bounce back, but yeah, they're wasting the. I think the coaching staff is wasting that talent on that roster, and they don't really have a number one receiver right now.
Which they always do, though. North Carolina State is literally known for this.
Yeah.
So I'm not
This is
really
what
shocked.
they do.
This is they're 9-3 win team at best.
Yeah, they only have one 10-win season in program history, and that was when they had Phillip Rivers. So
yeah.
Well,
Do y'all think? I'll go ahead. My bad.
Will North Carolina win more than 6 games this season?
It's
Yeah,
gonna be a
maybe.
shootout.
I
think
mean,
all it's gonna be a shootout.
they did come back on App State, but App State's not really no. I mean, they should have beat App State anyway. They shouldn't even let them score that much. So
right, 40 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
they
that's
should be fine
that's
until they
different.
find somebody that plays some defense.
Wait, we're talking about App State, but what about FAMU? That almost. I mean, they
didn't
had
look great.
I mean, dude, they
Man,
almost,
Gene
I thought they were gonna
Chizik-
lose at first.
I don't know why I thought the Gene Chizik would be a good hire.
That was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, the man hasn't coached a defense in like 6 years, and he looks like it.
I mean, UNC still has to play Notre Dame, and not won that.
No, I say they'll be good till they play somebody with some defense.
Yeah. Who? So I got a question. Who do you think is going to come out in the ACC Atlantic?
I'm
Those
still
Wake
leaning
Forest
Clemson
last
right
year.
now, especially since NC State hasn't looked that great. I think
Clemson,
and
until
Clemson
somebody
plays
shows
NC State at
otherwise.
home, but
I think if Clemson replaced DJ with Klubnik, they definitely win it. I think if they don't replace them, they'll still probably nudge their way up in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can win the Atlantic with DJ. I mean, we'll see.
Our running game's got to get better. It didn't look that good against Georgia Tech.
It got better as the game. I mean, when we ran to the left side, it looked good, but yeah, Blake Miller got to get better at right tackle. He got picked on. I mean, because the Georgia Tech's D line ain't great, but they have some transfers that have been playing football a while.
Yeah.
And he ran up against that experience and he got whooped.
Yeah.
So he
Now
got better.
Golden Blue will say, "Oh yeah, when Larry isn't under pressure, throwing his motion is beautiful, but that's not how college football works."
Well, then what does that got to do with Leary? I'm
Yeah.
I'm not understanding
That's
like
the
what the
team.
point is. Like, this the team. NC State's offensive line didn't look good.
Larry, I think what he's trying to say is, can Larry play under adversity? Because if the offensive line gives up on him, what is he gonna do?
And to be fair to Leary, last year when he played Clemson, like we were getting pressure on him, and he like when he made that game winning touchdown, that was an NFL throw in the back corner to win the game. That was a hell of a throw. Look, now Leary's got the arm. Yeah, he's an NFL guy. Like,
all right, let's do this real quick. Let's do this real quick, and I want everybody in the chat to participate. At the end of the season, after 12 games have played in the state of Florida, which teams will be leading? Like, you can put them from 1 to 3, basically. 1 being Miami's the best, 2 being Florida's second best, and 3 being Florida State the last, just like that. So who's gonna finish on top and who's gonna finish on the bottom?
Well, I mean, you mean like who wins the most games, or what are we talking here?
Overall, record-wise, who's going to have the best record in the state? Who's going to end up, the best overall team? Rankings, record, everything. I got Miami 1, I got Florida 2, and I got Florida State 3.
I mean, if we're talking, we're talking record, I'd take Miami.
Miami don't play nobody, but we play Florida State every year.
I
guess you're right. We really don't play nobody.
We do this when South Carolina fans talk about us being in the ACC and we play a bunch of cupcakes. I'm like, you on the schedule. You actually bring our strength of schedule down. So thanks.
Hey, South Carolina's on the rise though. I like.
They didn't look great last week, but we'll see.
Ralph says Miami 1, Florida 2, UCF 3, Florida State 4.
Nah, so I think Spencer Rattler's booty.
I think it's Miami 4 to Florida State.
That's probably.
Livewire says Miami 1, Florida 2, Florida State 3.
But I think Wake Forest is going to come out of Atlantic again.
I mean, Miami has the favorite schedule except Clemson and playing the Aggies.
Wake Forest shouldn't have come out of it last year because they played that non-conference game against UNC.
Here we go. Miami's in a weak conference, so
Clemson beat Wake Forest.
Here comes the Florida Gators now. Always talking about the SEC. We're in the best conference. Blah blah blah. And then when at the end of the year, when another team is better than you guys, you was in a weak conference. Excuses. Deal with it. You play with the hand that you dealt.
I mean, who does Florida play this year? That's kind of
and let's be honest, Florida fans. If you guys are so bent out of shape that Miami's schedule is so easy, why did you take yourself off of it when we was kicking y'all ass?
Yeah, I don't really know Florida's schedule, so I don't know.
It's Kentucky, USF, Tennessee, Eastern Washington, Mizzou, LSU, Georgia, A&M, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Florida State. So if you actually look at it, that's probably the easiest in the SEC that you're gonna get. I mean, you're not playing Alabama, you're not playing Ole Miss, which I feel like is a pretty tough team. You're not playing
not playing Clemson, are you?
Yeah, not playing Clemson.
Yeah, Golden Blue say later the guys disagree about Larry though. This show.
Night GBD. It's all love.
Yeah, West Virginia. Hey, Golden Blue man, West Virginia needs to get some better receivers that know how to catch the ball.
Oh my God, no! They should have won that game. That was.
Dude, he let the ball go right through his hands, and he just—that's what cost him the game.
That was it. And they
Yeah,
play, and their
correct.
D line was legit.
Oh yeah, their
Great.
D line was nasty a little bit, but
Great.
they
Crazy
got
part is
pressure
the receiver that dropped that pass was he had a hell of a game. He had like 2 touchdowns.
I know he did. He was carrying.
Yeah.
but neither one of those teams impressing me. I don't think they're neither one good. So
I mean, we'll see. I guess this week when Pitt plays Tennessee, West Virginia's gonna play Virginia Tech.
Tennessee's gonna rock their shit, man. I'm
You
telling
think
you.
so? They
Yes.
Pitt beat them last year.
Yeah, but they had Jordan Addison. They had
They got some talent still. I mean, they look pretty like they reloaded.
Now Mark says I'm a Minnesota Viking fans, and last year when it says what college did you go to, Dalvin Cook didn't even say Florida State. He said his high school. Wow, a shame of his
They
college.
always.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins does that too.
They always.
You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, a lot of those guys. Let's just be real. I mean, Jalen Ramsey. I don't think half of them like to even answer that no more.
So who y'all play? Who's Miami play this week?
Southern Miss.
Easy win.
Oh, Southern Miss booty.
It's an easy win, but it's still a tough team. They're a good running team. They got
Playing
Frank
the
Gore Jr.
Mississippi boys.
Frank Gore Jr. say he finna come run all through that.
Dude, he's legit.
Man.
He's legit. We should have offered him. Manny Diaz fucked up.
Southern Miss?
Brendan says, "Shut up! I'm a Vikings fan, and Darvin loves FSU."
Southern Miss got a good quarterback. I don't know.
No, running back.
They got a running back playing quarterback now because the quarterback got hurt.
They
But
got
the
Frank
running
Gore
back
Jr.
did play quarterback a little bit in high school or whatever.
So their running back's pretty good.
Yeah, it's Frank Gore's son.
Now,
Oh,
a Florida
shit.
State fan should not say they own Florida or Miami because you got a losing record against both. I think Florida got like 10 games over you guys. So
Yeah, if that's
That's tough.
Frank Gore's son, you better watch out because he
I know
might
what I'm
have.
saying. He's gonna show up for Miami, especially in Miami when they didn't offer him.
yeah, I still can't believe LSU lost their cupcake game.
That's wild.
Don't worry about it. We'll come down to Miami and do the same thing to y'all. Don't worry about it.
Hey.
Yeah, last time you was in Miami, you left with a 52 burger.
That's how you came to us. You left with the L2.
We did.
Yeah, that little 3-point.
Hey, you guys did us the biggest favor ever. Honestly, though, I thank you guys for beating us. Because if you guys did not beat us, only God knows how bad this program would have been this year. With Manny.
Let me ask you this. I saw your fan base.
I want to know what you gonna say when we beat Mario this year. You gonna say the same thing?
Now, let me ask you this. Why do Florida State fans do this? You guys say that Norvell is 1-0 against Miami when literally he got whooped 52-10.
He went on the sideline. That year.
Oh
he
my
was
God.
there. He was in their ears.
Hey.
He was in their ears. He was calling the game in their ears.
Don't worry about it. He get a chance to come to Miami this year. He go put something.
We'll see.
Now, I got another question for Florida State fan. You celebrated 4th and 14. Why don't you celebrate 4th and 10? JSU.
Why don't you celebrate it?
I do celebrate. I do
Why
celebrate
don't
it.
you
Dude, we
celebrate it?
celebrate that every day.
We definitely
'cause you guys
celebrate
give us Cristobal. You got our coach fired.
I got a question for Florida State fans too. That hole that JSU put in y'all field to plant that flag, is it still there?
We'll find out about that hole we're gonna put in the middle of that U this year. How about that?
Fun facts. Do you know that Miami has a winning record in Dope Cam Stable?
I'm pretty sure they got a winning record at Don't Cam Stable.
So can we say that we own that stadium too?
We own Seminole Hard Rock too. You forgot about that, huh?
We got a winning record against y'all in there.
Just make sure y'all pay us our rent on the first, all right?
We got a winning record against y'all at home and away.
Y'all ain't the
Damn.
Seminoles, though. Y'all ain't the
Make
Seminoles.
sure y'all pay Seminole Hard Rock on what
Y'all are not the Seminoles.
Did y'all get the rust out of them toilets yet?
y'all got the dust out of the shit.
They got them bleacher ass fucking
Yeah, they got them bleacher seats that when you get up, your butt bone hurt.
every college football stadium got bleachers. Come up with another joke.
Hey, not Alabama.
All the Florida State fans got diabetes because when they leave the stadium, their feet be hurting because they never sat down.
So
It's
they
gonna
need
be
to
a good
rebuild
game.
that stadium. They need to fix, like, get better bleachers or something, huh?
Yeah, they definitely need to get them bleachers out and put some goddamn chairs in there. They
Or
can
get
come
one
watch.
of them. You know them little pad chairs? Did you see people using at the game?
Yeah, they charge an extra $100 for the people to buy those.
The
Damn.
chairs still charge an
crazy.
extra $100 for people. All the boosters, we for boosters, man.
Yeah, the ones that pay the extra money.
Don't worry about it. We
Right.
got a section with we got a couple sections with seat
If
backs.
you
Listen,
donate,
listen,
if you donate thousands of dollars to FSU, they'll give you a cushion too.
Y'all had to start up an NIL. Please donate to our our team.
Oh yeah, that was terrible, man.
that
Over the
shit
off
was
season, you guys was literally on Twitter begging for money,
That shit was
Fair
pathetic.
Rising.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out of here. Appreciate everything, T2Y.
All right, man, take it easy.
Get some sleep. All right, guys.
You see Ruiz done closed his mouth, ain't it, huh? All the money done ran out.
Oh, the money ain't going nowhere. It's
Hey, the money
on,
done went dry.
dude.
building a
We're about to
five-story.
put 150 million into our facilities. You just seen the Florida Gators upgrade theirs with 85.
We breaking ground on our football facility in December too.
You guys been raising money for 20 years now.
It might be done by 2042.
Didn't you guys raise 100 million and then they told you, oh, sorry, you owed 102, so technically you starting from ground zero?
No, not really.
You owed
I
the
did
you
remember
owed the
that
city.
Florida
You
State.
owed the city 102 million. You raised 100 million. You're still negative. You're still in the negative.
That's what you think. You can't believe everything, huh?
Didn't you guys just use the money that they were supposed to use for the homeless to renovate some of y'all stadium? Terrible.
No, we use the money we get from Seminole Hard Rock to do that.
No.
Y'all got the Seminoles.
Poverty State University. That's what it is.
No, that tab belong to Miami.
Poverty State.
Which is 30 yard.
The money that's willing to be put into Miami, Florida State couldn't even scratch the surface.
What money I got putting into it? Ain't nobody seen nothing yet.
Dude, I just told you.
Y'all got a bunch of renderings that ain't nothing broke ground and nothing yet. So it's all talk right now.
It broke ground.
Dude, it took y'all 30 years to raise 100. We already had 70 off the bat.
How long did it take y'all?
It's not good. Trust me.
Yeah.
Our facilities, our new facilities will be done by the end of maybe next season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
You just see, we just got temporary. The keyword is temporary. New locker rooms. That makes y'all brand new ones look like a piece of trash.
We got temporary new locker rooms too. We built a whole new football facility in December. Great ground in December.
Does the word temporary in FSU? Does the word temporary means permanent?
Nah, that's what it means in Miami. Got to.
Because in order for you guys to upgrade your facilities, you literally have to steal from the city.
Wait, so Florida State fan, do you think y'all going to win the ACC?
No, I never said we was.
Willie said
Is Miami gonna win?
No.
Win it? I don't know if Miami's gonna win it, but we should.
And
be in it,
Willie said since y'all still paying them, next time don't send cash out.
He said that to Manny Diaz.
Willie said make sure you put the money in his PayPal.
That boy Manny Diaz is booty.
Oh, that Penn State looks.
Mike Norvell is the equivalent of Manny Diaz. Florida State just ain't admitted yet.
Mike Norvell beat y'all.
So did Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz beat you twice. No way, he beat you more than twice. 4 times. Come on, man. The quicker you guys realize.
Hey, after the game, this man jumping up and down doing jumping jacks when they won that game.
You talking about Mike Norvell?
Yeah.
He was too happy. Like, oh
boy.
my God, Dude, his job was probably on the line right there if he lost that game with the way they
Yeah,
were losing.
The
I
way
saw
he
his heart
coached
beat
that
out his
game, his job
chest.
should be on the line.
That shit flashed right through his eyes, bro. If they lost that game,
Man, he
Mike
was happy,
Norvell,
boy.
Mike
Get that
Norvell
ring.
did everything he could to throw that game. LSU was just that bad.
Man,
that
that
was
boy
like the
Jaden Daniels, he booty.
dude. That was like the best worst game I ever watched in my life. I was like, this is like horrible.
He was running the ball like a little bit,
In
Jaden
the
Daniels, but
pocket,
his throwing game is ass. He can't
yeah, but
throw
he
it.
was running the ball like this right off the bat, like not even
His
checking
receivers
down.
ain't helping him either.
Well, I think the receivers, dude, that one receiver knew right off the bat. He's like, bro, this team is we're trash, bro. Like, I get
I
tell.
bet you Keyshawn
Keyshawn
Boutte transfer.
Yeah,
I bet
he's
you
out.
that.
He's
But
already he's
Butte was
out.
terrible.
I know. I think he didn't want to be there, bro. You could tell.
Yeah, he
Like right the
I
first
think
play, he
he
didn't
did
want to be
that
there.
shit on purpose.
I know.
Like
That's
he
what I'm
didn't want
saying.
to do
probably
it.
threw it. I
Clearly,
wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he probably sold.
he's definitely sold, bro. He was like clearly not. Dude, he was wide open in the end zone, and he just didn't even look for the ball.
Yep.
He's let that
He
shit hit
did, he
him right
didn't
in the
even try to
chest.
catch it.
He
His
let that
hands
shit hit him
went in
right
his
in the
mouth.
chest.
Yep.
Like, dude, that's
He
crazy.
sold that game, bro. They could have easily won
That
if
man
he
said
would
he
have got
wanted
that.
10 targets, man.
That was the game winning probably touchdown.
Yeah, that would have won. That would have won them the game. I mean,
Yeah.
he straight up didn't even attempt to catch the ball.
And who the hell wasn't blocking? So at the end there when they was
Oh, I
kicking the
know.
ball.
They left him wide open. You saw that? They literally just left him. They got wide unblocked to block that fucking extra.
What?
What
Are
happened?
they
He went
stupid?
and blocked the outside guy, and the inside guy go straight through. That's what happened.
Bro,
Dude,
this dude, it was two of them came
They
flying
left
around.
the
I was like,
hole.
oh,
They left the
shit.
hole wide open on the left side. Like there was no one blocking.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Man, them dudes were coming
they
so
teach you
quick.
go from the inside to the out. He went from the outside to the in.
I'm not gonna lie though. I was thinking that during the whole game when they muffed the two punts, bro. I'm like, bro, is this team trying to purposely like? Do they not want to play for this coach? Like, what is going
That was
on?
number 4. That was number 32 for Florida State, right? What's his name? They blocked it.
Yeah, I forgot. I know you're talking about
38 Brown, Shaheem
Brown. Some Brown. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude was quick. He got off that edge pretty quick.
Oh, Dennis Briggs. Was that him?
Oh, his name's Brown. I'll look him up, but
Brown.
Shaheem Brown.
yeah, Shaheem Brown. That's his name.
But he literally came off it unblocked. Like there was no one blocking him.
Oh my God, dude.
After he blocked the kick, he gave him the key to the city.
You might well say they just gave him the game then. What the hell? They didn't even have nobody blocking. That's stupid, bro.
Hey man, a dub is a dub. It don't matter how.
Oh, that was a dub. That 100%.
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe
I
how
agree.
bad that game was. That it was even a game. Like that it was close.
Don't say a dub is a dub. Not in college football.
I mean, hey, it's still a W on this. Dude, that is honestly FSU's. That probably makes FSU go 7-5.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a team win a game and still drop in the rankings?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
A dub ain't a dub in college football.
They
It all
that
depends
like
on
that back in
it all depends on how
2014.
you win the game. I guarantee you, Florida State had blown LSU out, they would have gave them consideration for the top 25.
I doubt it. Well, we got like 30 something votes. We was like right
Yeah,
outside.
if you would have blew them out, you definitely would have got more than 34. But instead, it's still on.
I think LSU they gonna have a bad year if they don't pick it.
They're
It up.
gonna be below 500, 100%, 100% below 500.
Who's their next game against? You know,
I think
play
some.
Southern.
Yeah, some. They're not playing no one. I think.
They played the Battle of Baton Rouge, man.
they gonna beat them, but they still probably gonna go 6-6 or 7-5, maybe.
Nah, I don't know that. Dude, they gotta play. You got Alabama, that's a loss. You got A&M, that's a loss. Arkansas is a loss. Tennessee is probably a loss. Yeah, Mississippi, and you got Florida still, Mississippi State. I honestly don't know if they can win any game. Maybe Auburn in the SEC. That might be their only win in the SEC. I mean, The way that
Yeah,
team's quitting on them right now,
I don't
dude, they're losing
know.
so many guys.
Auburn celebrated against Mercer. They had the champagne bottles all over Harson.
Yeah,
Bro,
no,
that's
they're a
crazy.
disaster, bro. They're
Hey,
half their team left them last year. Half their coaches left them last year. Their AD
did
Yep.
left
y'all
them.
did y'all see what that reporter did to Brian Kelly at the press conference?
Oh my god, that
Oh,
was
that
fucking
was
great.
foul.
Dude, that was
She
great.
lost her credentials for sure.
Oh
She
yeah,
ain't
she's
coming back.
fucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's.
What she do? I missed it. I didn't see that. What happened?
Basically, he
Like,
told him like, I guess I'll take questions from this late from the late reporters coming in or whatever like that. And she was like, well, if you win, maybe I'll be here on time.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
he was taken
crazy.
aback by it too. He was like,
Oh, he was
well,
pissed.
yeah,
It has nothing to do with
had nothing to
winning.
do with being on time or winning. It had nothing, it's about being on time. I was like, bro.
Oh, he
I
was
bet
pissed.
her ass won't be up there no more.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
She probably like, oh
She
shit, did I say
blackballed.
that out loud?
She gonna be. She might lose her job for that shit.
Dude,
Mm.
Brian Kelly's
Nah.
gonna lose this dude. That they put together the worst staff ever for an SEC school.
It's funny because the one coach that actually wanted to come with him from
Was
Notre
the
Dame
special teams coach.
was a special teams coach.
That was great,
Yeah.
and that's the reason they lose.
Yeah.
That was fucking great.
Man, his own
I had
Tommy
a
Reese was his
feeling.
quarterback and didn't
And
want
he's
to come
like,
with
"Fuck,
him.
I ain't going with you, bro." He
Yeah.
he knew it. The writing on the wall, dude. Brian Kelly can't win any big games.
Right.
I
He's
had a
not.
feeling that Brian Kelly was gonna lose his first game in the SEC. I had a feeling. I
He
said,
didn't
"Watch
win
this,
any
man."
games at Notre Dame. I'm not shocked that he didn't win any with LSU. He's not going to win any with LSU.
Yep. And every time he played Alabama, he got smacked.
Smacked. Like fuck. I remember that one year in the BCS National Championship game, bro. I went to sleep in the first quarter. It was like 38-0. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I heard he came to the SEC to challenge Nick Saban. That's what I was told.
You know, people take their LSU
Good
job and
luck
they
with
think
that.
because they got the whole state of Louisiana recruit for themselves that they claim that that's the A+ job in the SEC and everything like that.
I mean, I'll give him. I mean, he's recruiting well. I'll give him that. But
I
you better
heard Ed.
recruit. You better recruit well at LSU.
I heard Ed Ogeron got fired for messing with young girls.
He got fired for a lot of reasons.
I seen a recent Ed Orgeron's interview where he said they
that
basically
clip.
said, "Hey, we're gonna buy you out for 17 million." He's like, "Okay, where's the door?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that today too.
Sure, if you want to give me that money up front and I ain't got to do shit, why not? Let me
Like,
take
Ed
the
O
money
ain't an amazing
and go
coach,
on
but
a.
he's
What that motherfucker? He
hilarious.
said, why I signed that and what door you want me to go out of?
Exactly, and now every day he's down in Miami at our facilities.
He went from winning the national championship with one of the best teams LSU's probably had to doggone to the bottom of the barrel and getting fired. Damn.
Hey, Gene Chizik did the same thing. He had Cam Newton.
At least he didn't do what Brian Kelly did. Not Brian Kelly. I'm sorry. Mac Brown win a championship and then go mediocre the rest of his career.
I bet you Notre Dame fans are happy that Brian Kelly lost that game.
Oh, they are. They are. I know them. I know some Notre Dame fans. They've been laughing at him all week.
Yeah, because Irish Breakdown, the Irish podcast, it's called Irish Breakdown.
Yeah, but
they was over there talking about it the other day. They was like, I really don't care because they said he's gonna fall on his ass and shit at LSU. They say he's gonna get fired. They were talking all kind of shit.
No, they hate him over there.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I mean, which is kind of crazy to me because Brian Kelly didn't get him over the hump, but he's their all-time winningest head coach.
He's better than that Marcus Freeman. I'll tell you that.
Well, we'll see. He's a
Marcus
first-year
Freeman
head coach. The jury's still out.
I feel like he's gonna get better, Marcus Freeman, and I feel like he did really good for his first, head coaching job, at Notre Dame against Ohio State. So
he recruiting his ass off too. So
yeah, they had the number one class, and then Alabama took it away. So
Yeah, I mean, they ain't gonna keep all of them, but they still gonna finish with a good class.
Alabama's about to steal Keon Kelly from he
Yeah,
decommitted from Notre Dame. Dude,
Mhm.
that dude's a stud.
Yeah, he's
I'm
nice.
just saying, wherever he lands, he's gonna be a stud, bro. He is all that dude is huge, and he's a big time edge rusher. He's really good. But I think Miami has a really good class too. They got some big ass tight ends. They got that Riley dude. What's his first name? T2Y.
Riley,
Riley.
Riley Williams.
Yeah, Riley Williams. That dude gonna be a stud too, bro. He's big time tight end. He's like
Yeah,
one of the best tight ends in the nation. I think like third, fourth best. What they
he was,
said.
he was rated number one in California, but he moved out to IMG.
Yeah. And then y'all got that offensive lineman, 5-star, the Samoan guy. He's
Francis.
really good.
Yoga. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
Francis.
Yeah, he's good. That
I
dude gonna
heard
be a
Florida was trying
stud.
to throw the bag at that man.
Here we go. It's always the money. The teams with no money, always watching the teams with money.
Man, I didn't tell you what I heard, man. Don't come at me like that, man.
It ain't our fault that y'all broke. You broke.
We got it. We just ain't flaunting it like everybody else.
Before I do my
What?
laundry, I'll make sure I get all the change and link out my pocket and donate to y'all.
Your
Let me
donation
see.
will be gladly accepted.
Florida State number 23 in recruiting. Let's see how they got 14 commits right now.
Florida about to flip one of their commits right now.
No, we ain't. I ain't work. Atkins ain't going for that.
Yeah, what's the kid name? Roderick or something like that. Rodney.
Rod Kearney.
Roger
Yeah,
Kearney. Yeah.
yeah. They already put out the flip for him. They're saying he's
Yeah,
more.
Offensive line.
he deleted all the stuff, but he put it right back in after him
But
and Alex had that
but
talk.
you, but you,
He's a 6'4".
but you think about it though. You guys just beat the mighty LSU, and he wants to decommit.
Damn.
And he went and saw them play Utah. He started believing the hype. That's all. He's gonna come back now.
Yeah, but is that a kid that you really want on your team?
Offense.
I mean,
He's an
do
offensive
Florida
lineman.
really want him? He commits us right after a Florida visit and dumped on Florida the same way he's basically doing us. So do Florida really want him? You gotta put
So
it
you,
in perspective too.
so you got a kid that's playing games, playing tug of war with the both of you.
Hey, France is playing tug of war with both of y'all too.
Nah, Francis ain't playing no war. Francis is fully committed to Miami.
Unless he listening to
Where's
the
the tug
money
of
on the
war?
other side, if he listening to the money, he what you call it?
Come on, dude. Ain't no money in the world up in Florida that Miami can't match. I mean, Florida's even offering kids more money than Miami, allegedly, and they still choosing Miami over Florida, allegedly.
Allegedly, of course.
Yeah, ain't gonna lie. Miami was hot on the recruiting trail when they first started. Boy, then they slowed down, but Mario
Yeah,
was on one.
but if you think about it, we slowed down for a good reason because the kids that we're going after are high quality kids that's not making decisions right now anyway.
Yeah, like Kamani, he's not gonna commit to December, early signing
Yeah.
day, and the
Samson, all them other kids, they're not making no decision no time soon. The heavyweights, that's what we're going after.
yeah. I think recruiting is like I know Alabama about to get Jalen Hale. I think he's a wide receiver from forgot what high school he played for, but I think he's from Texas. Anyway, he was at the Alabama versus Utah State, and he's going to be at the Alabama versus Texas because he visits in Texas now. So if Alabama beats Texas, he's probably going to choose Alabama, in
I
my
see.
opinion. But
Steve Wilfong had put out a cristobal for Kamani to Florida, and Kamani literally got mad at him for it.
really,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Oh, damn.
So that might be some. I don't know what's going on with that, but I heard
Yeah, I
Alabama.
think
I heard Alabama is heavily in the recruiting of him. So I don't know.
I mean, these days
he's high on
they
Alabama
want to
though.
try to keep it. They want to keep it close to the vest, but you can't these days. There's too many outlets, too many talking people, man, to try to try to keep stuff too close to the vest, man.
Yeah,
That's the
Kamani is
thing
really
about
high
it.
on Alabama though. He is high on Alabama. He said that the reason why he really like Alabama and Alabama is gonna be in his top three because the you know how they develop and they put DBs in the NFL and stuff. So he said feels like that he would fit in good at Alabama. And he also said Miami, he visited Miami and Florida. So, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
those are his top three schools.
Yep.
Florida believe that they're leading.
Yeah, I don't know. I
But for
mean,
them, his relationship with Corey Raymond is what's going to land him to Florida, according to them.
bro, if whoever get him, they gonna have one, man. Cause that dude is a beast. 19 interceptions, dude, in high school. Shit, that boy good. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
almost coming up on midnight, so I'm gonna shut this thing down. But throughout the season, I will do this show every Wednesday, maybe starting around 9 o'clock, and definitely
Yeah.
revisit the topic Miami, Florida State, and Florida. I definitely want to have this segment going, so I'll try to make it like a permanent scheduled thing around 9 o'clock every Wednesday. So right now, I'm about to shut it down. I'm about to go to sleep.
All right.
Appreciate everybody that came through, everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat. Um, that's it. Good night. Good night,
Night,
All
y'all.
right.
folks.
Be easy, bro. All right.
All right. And with that being said, Miami is better than Florida and Florida State. Good night, folks.